Hello! I have just noticed that, and you've just noticed the horns. Right. Welcome. We are a party of 3 of 6, which is fine. So this week we are down a Erin, a Dio, and a Johnny. And so their stand-in, Sir Barrington, is currently face-holding the characters, so that if you ever get confused who's missing, just look at the bear when you look at Drew's side and you'll see. We've already lost Drew.
Multiple personalities too.
This is the chaos of today. We will be carrying back into basically an initiative count from last game, and roll intro.
See, it was never not broken.
Exactly. So last time the party rested up, and before venturing back into the labs, Drew had a conversation with Dante and reacclimated with him. So now has access to call upon Dante's knowledge as well as Gary's. The party then proceeded into the lab itself and started exploring around, and Drew discovered a bunch of skeletons and warforgers who immediately were in the middle of charging into this room. The party then fought a wave of skeleton warforgers and such. They did, Drew had. Yeah. Chaos ensued. After which you guys spent a few minutes sort of dealing with the aftermath and exploring this sort of tunnel that had been sort of carved out when the room then started reacting and setting up shields around it, which you guys all knew from, well, Erin and Luggage knew that they were incapable of dealing with these shields properly.
Can't break through them.
Dio happened to break one from starting completely, so it didn't actually fully start up. Another wave of skeleton warforgers charged through, to which unexpectedly Johnny's wild magic came in favour and created an anti-magic bubble that basically eliminated 90% of the skeletons, and then failed to throw spoons at a warforged who was standing asleep in front of him.
And became a pincushion.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's not forget all the arrows.
Oh yeah, of course, yes. And the skeletons realising they can shoot through anti-magic with bows that aren't magic, and created a pincushion out of Johnny. The party eventually took care of this chaos and broke into the connecting room where the main power generator of the facility seemed to be running, where they came across a massive creature that was wandering around who appeared to be monitoring everything, to which I can't remember if it was Dio or Luggage initiated conversation with the creature. It was Dio. Initiated conversation.
Dio had my back.
As Drew invisibly ran around the room, and Luggage decided to impose himself as he does and enlarged himself. The creature then imitated him.
Copycat.
And that is where we begin.
Maybe become really tiny and you might copy that too.
That's a different thing I don't know.
I don't want to be too loud so I can't hear myself.
What?
Exactly.
Battle!
Battle lights! As I set up battle lights.
Why are you so chuffed?
Just cracking up at you.
I don't have my
Let's
I'll
just
just
grab
move
it.
my giant thing of pasta.
Okay, so
Dig into your bag for something else, and oh my god, what the hell else you got in there, Mary Poppins?
I needed that the other day. I brought a whole bag of shopping in. I only ate like 2 things from it, but I brought a whole bag of shopping.
right,
The
so
lemon cake things that we bought were gross.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh, that bag is all.
Yeah. Ugh. That icing was nasty.
Okay.
so 20 to 25 in the initiative count.
Nope.
Nope.
How can I anyways then? I'm just so upset.
I rolled for Johnny. Johnny has gotten 22. Johnny is first. That's going to end well.
Wow, he actually beat me.
He's also in the hallway dealing with shit. So 15 to 20.
Yeah, me. I got 18.
Just making sure you actually
Cool.
respond.
And then 10 to 15.
13 and then 13.
13 to 15. So 2 and then 11. Cool. So Johnny goes first.
You're invisible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Drew's invisible. On an awareness, Johnny is unaware that combat has begun. Just because it's easier to deal with it that way. Because he's also... Johnny is currently still in the hallway, so whether he's aware that battle has actually initiated or not is...
Michael,
Mike-
clunk in a moment.
As he's not the first one to react, he's not aware of what's going on.
Yep.
So
Still
this...
trying to put his innards in.
So the creature wanders up to luggage.
Just wanders, saunters over.
It wanders up to luggage. Does a 23 hit luggage? This creature does like this weird gesture with its hand and just
Asks like it doesn't
goes
hit.
and hits your chest and goes, not illusion.
Does a 50 hit?
And it's just, his hand-
He realised I'm real.
So he's not the sharpest tool in the shed then.
No, it's pretty
it's
intelligent.
more because he just went massive.
And oh wait, hold on. Does that actually hurt me? Oh, I don't
He rolled to tap ya.
know. Do I need to concentrate? Is the question.
And then I'm guessing a 23 will hit you.
Yes, that was the same as last time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Slap. Yes, real. Swipe.
I'm really gonna put the sheet onto my pad. Be like a party.
You take 28 points of damage as this thing just goes slice
Oh Jesus.
on you.
You okay, buddy?
It's half my health gone, but yeah, I'm okay.
And it just re-sheaths the sword behind it and just looks at you.
Oh, now I can do it.
Fitz, it's your turn.
Fitz will place down his defensive turret, which gives temporary AC.
What was I saying last game? Just get him to put down a turret. That's what he'll do. Just put down a turret.
Okay, does he already have it down?
One of the things it does is, as it looks at luggage, it turns its head slightly in the direction Drew wanted it.
Oh.
Ain't nothing here but us chickens.
Okay, I throw it down.
Flop, flop.
I guess I'll just go burp, put it there. And...
Hold on, wait, I'll give him a... Fitz's turret.
Oh, that's how much temporary hit points you got. 3.
Is this where
Wow.
Fitz stores the turret? You can pick where you want to throw the turret. Is
Maybe a bit closer where it's like because it's a
what's its
10-foot radius.
Okay.
10 foot.
How far can you throw it?
Well, I can just walk closer and place it. I don't mind.
So you.
Imagine you could probably throw it at least 30. There's a range.
There we go.
It's typically 30.
Wow, 3 temporary hit points. That means I also get 3.
That's alright. It resets every turn.
Yeah.
Cool. So
And then I don't think I can do anything else right now.
No, I do come straight. Good. I'm still good. And, oh, sorry. When I say I lost half my hit points, I also have temporary ones as well. So that doesn't do anything for me.
you lose temporary when you lose health. It doesn't restack.
Yeah, until... So his turret,
Okay,
every
wait.
turn, gives everyone that. So it actually is casting it. But my bigness gives me temporary hit points, which are higher than the ones that he was giving me. But then I got hit, so they don't exist anymore.
Is it concentration?
That's what I was just dealing with. Yeah, and I passed.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to think of whether...
Get in there.
Come on, man. You have words. You can do this.
That's pretty much my turn.
How many hit
Aaron
points it is?
flicks in behind you, turns, kind of says what's going on, and fires a shot, and this blast just goes in between you guys, and
It takes out the boss. Yay! Well done, everyone.
and
Let's
just
loot.
flies off and explodes somewhere in the room. It misses. Drew, your turn.
Yeah, I
5,
continue my path.
20,
Yes. So
so you
that
get
actually
30
does
into the other half of the area.
I'm trying to get behind.
To the other side of it.
Yes.
Wait, what is that thing?
The pink
It's
thing is a
generator.
power generator.
Oh, okay.
That's big
I'm trying to work
glowy,
at turning it off.
big glowy thing.
Which I would now like to attempt. Or at least. have a look
You to get there in your full round is a dash action to get there, because 30 is here, and then if you were going all the way there, then your dash action would bring you there.
So you're using...
at. Why am I going instead of around it?
Well,
Why is it-
that's still the
Like,
30.
what is he made out of?
Like you were here, so 5, 10,
you.
But technically, I was
He's
at
a-
the side of it
He is a
because I
constant.
was
So
standing
5, 10,
next to
15.
it.
20.
I guess
This
I can
takes
ship
up
it.
this, like even though this physically doesn't take it up, these squares are occupied
It's
by the
an AoE,
generator.
and I'm
So
staying
you're
right in
walking
front of
around
it.
the generator.
I can just do a little bit further.
But yeah, 25 gets you here.
If you can think you can do it without hitting me, go ahead.
So you were standing
I
here.
I was standing right
Just
outside of
so
it.
like it's
Yeah,
just
so it's
getting
5, 10,
like,
15, 20,
definitely is
25. Oh no,
becoming
you would be
the
there.
sponge, but
Okay,
also here
so
at the same
you're-
time, which is kind of hard to
No, it's
Like, oh, no.
Keeping
I
myself
remember the
alive.
setup.
and keeping everyone else alive is kind of...
It had already pretty much
Yes,
gone
it
around.
is.
Rope trick, and we can all go
so
hide.
what do you
I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off. Basically.
okay? So roll an investigation onto it.
I don't know if I can see short on that thing.
Not great.
Yes,
Imagery.
but you don't necessarily... Drew's, you,
No, wait.
Might be better.
you don't know Drew's over there, admittedly, but...
No one knows Drew.
Ah, I was close.
Yeah.
14.
And possibly
Okay.
the big robot that looked over there.
Cool. So you look at this thing and you're just like, I've seen something similar to this before. I think I understand. And you sort of start trying to open a few things, and you end up opening a hatch and notice that it requires some sort of key to get further. And your brain immediately remembers a lighthouse with a very similar setup where a crazy Tabaxian had a key that actually had access into the thing itself.
I would like to examine my enemy for a key. I would like to... well, actually, you...
There's nothing else I can do.
Yeah, it's Luggage's turn. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Because I assume I would know automatically I'd be wasting my time trying to pick the lock.
That is why I told you the lighthouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
You are aware that something like this requires a key to access into it.
Yeah. It's the skeleton key. Or the warforged key. I would like to, first of all, query... Let's call out or state out loud. Query designation.
To this
Large construct thing.
in front of you.
Yes.
So you just go query designation. It doesn't respond to you.
Cool. See if it'll give me a name. No? Alright. Whale on it then. Give it a swing.
Yep.
Here. 15. No.
Nope.
I'm
So
assuming
you take a swing at it and it just kind of
Oh, it was actually a 5.
it just knocks
I'm
down.
not angry at
Knocks
this.
you.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, so the way my brain does it is I put down.
I don't know how many spells Johnny actually has left, so Johnny is.
About 3 level 2s maybe, but to be honest, in case something really bad happens with wild magic, it might be best to just fling spoons at people.
He's just going to fling 2 spoons.
Ting ting.
So one spoon goes poof, and hits this thing in the chest, and it just kind of looks at the spoon that's now just lying in front of it.
Yeah.
Cool. This thing looks at you,
I
luggage,
really need to put this in my table.
and then just goes again. 23.
Yeah. Again. The same number. I know what I need to do.
Stop getting hit.
No, I have a ability that means that everyone has disadvantage when they attack me.
What don't you get?
What don't I get?
Yeah.
You take 29 points of damage.
The literal power of.
Jesus.
I can't control wood right now. 29, you said.
Oh no!
I hate it when I can't control my wood.
Okay, I can't do that this turn. I need to stay alive this turn.
So how's that temporary hit points going for?
It disappeared immediately. Oh, and
Is that a death save?
nope, I shrink. Oh, no, I
This
didn't.
is concentration.
Never mind.
Do you want to just hide up in a little magical hole in the ceiling?
Well, all of us.
Rope trick and just hide.
How big is the hole? All of us? Or do you mean, do I want to retreat out of battle? Because Luggage will not retreat out of battle with his friends.
I just need you to do it. Fitz, it's your turn.
Alright.
Just go ahead.
Oh,
Kill the
actually,
fucker.
so after it makes the attack on you, Luggage, it just turns and goes.
Assume opportunity.
You get an opportunity as he walks away.
That would be a 23.
Cool. That'll hit.
Yay. Uh, 9.
That's cocked. I'm joking. 6 temporary hit points now.
Yay, I have 6 new hit points. Because those other ones are already gone.
Where did my music go? You should be looking.
Right.
Song finish playing.
And Fitz will shoot at him.
Hachu.
Fitz will move to be able to shoot.
Yeah. And he'll be like,
Where
you going, pussy?
15 to get
I
to
guess
there.
Fitz is sort of.
That sound good enough to you? 3 squares
Yeah,
out?
that seems like a
a
strange thing to yell out.
Put a straight line.
Dio was here.
Multiple reasons.
Dio attempted to attack it twice and missed. I'll just roll for Dio just then.
Opportunity as well. Moving out of the range. It's only 1, but yeah. Although it does say whenever you make a melee, no, you have to use your bonus, and she can use a bonus.
Does
Okay.
19 hit?
Yes.
Hachu! Bing!
Oh my god, I'm so thankful I actually get.
Yay!
Or else I'll be missing so much.
All I have to do is roll a 10, and I'll hit it. Plus 3 magic sword. Proficiency. Very strong.
Yeah, okay. And it will be on force.
So it'll move one of the dice.
I picked it up. I wouldn't count it.
Roll again.
It looked nice though.
It's the same number.
Why not bother?
Because I caught it. I am not the table. I do not count.
Okay, so it's 13 damage and we'll make the 4 for the force. Ah!
So he moves.
For the force!
4 feet away.
So he moves in between spaces.
Hey, Drew, look, there's a big scary thing there.
Well, I didn't know
He
you did.
shot it
It
Yeah.
moved.
with force.
And
moved
his
it
gun
4
does
feet.
force damage as a part of the force damage. It moves
Yep. But why does it only move
4 feet.
half?
Because it's not quite 5.
It
It's
should
not
be.
Quite,
It should be 10 feet
I can't move.
per one.
You may as well just call it 5.
Okay, 5 feet.
Because
Swedish rounding, for God's sake.
Because it said 4, so we're going with 4.
It should be 4 blocks.
That's a little too.
Especially if you just shot them into a wall where you're meant to be sending them 60 feet. That's
Overrule. Overrule the 4, that's just a dumb number.
I assume by
Shit
now Johnny's
confusing.
heard people. Yes. that's
Yeah,
right,
no,
he's
Johnny.
come around and
Johnny.
shit.
Yeah,
Because he
sure,
threw
yeah.
spoons.
That's right, yes. And the funny thing is, I was looking at Josh saying that.
So Aaron turns to
was
Johnny
just
and
speaking
heals
of-
him.
Lay on hands.
Because Johnny does not look well.
Eh.
Drew, it's your turn. As you've finished all this out and you're like, cool, you hear this clomp, 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 and then a blast from Fitz's gun, and a noise. Something like something's just being pushed on the floor a little bit. And you turn your left, and there's the massive creature just cloaked, staring at you. You just can feel it staring at you. You can't
Cloaked, isn't it? Has a cloak on?
It has a cloak on.
Okay. I'm like,
You can't see its face, but you can just tell
I
it's
seen a
staring
cloak,
at
didn't I? Dude.
When we hit it, it went clang, right?
Yep.
Cool. Just making sure it didn't go
No.
squelch.
Okay. Something tells me it can either sense and or see me.
True sight or blind sight.
So, in that case, I will run back around the corner.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Even though technically you're invisible, but that's alright.
Do you want to throw an acid vial halfway through your movement?
No.
Okay. Because you can't do anything to me from there.
I want to be closer to the generator itself, though.
That is the corner of the generator.
Physically, it's bigger than it
The-
looks.
And even that's too big, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna. Not
What?
technically that, but just square cornered.
It's that and square corner to that.
So yes, you are hugging the corner.
I know where I'm going to put it, because you were there. Yeah.
Okay.
So this break in the table, that's here, that's the edge of it there.
Okay.
On this side. And it goes out this way.
4 squares, 3 squares. 15 feet, 20 feet wide.
And
15.
so basically, count. No, wait, that doesn't work either. Whatever.
I don't have a
It's alright. I think we got the basics of that down.
Not really. It was.
Okay.
It's all been very contradictory,
Yeah,
so I'm
sounds
confused.
So there's cards here, use these.
Okay.
there you
So I had a vague.
go.
Okey-dokey.
It's not a round
Gotcha.
generator, it's a square generator.
Sweet. And I cast Sanctuary on myself and become visible.
Drew appears in the room. Look at him. Drew's in the room.
Cool.
Look at him. It's your turn.
I'm just gonna glow bright for a moment and heal like fuck. Yeah, no.
Trying to help.
Cool. That's it, all of
Let's
luggage. He's just staying where he is, waiting for everyone else first, so someone else can take a swing for a second. Luggage can take actions.
Dio will go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. The dude.
Gotta go fast.
You can
Triple
deal
butt.
would lose about 2/3 of their health from one hit.
everyone's pretty much the same. If anyone takes the same hit I did, they're pretty much losing half their health.
More than half
Cool.
for me.
28 damage to the face. We're all, most of us are D8s for hit points, so we're pretty much, and we generally have around the same sort of constitution, so it's statistically we're going to be the same.
My health's at 50.
So we have disadvantage.
Mine's only 50.
Yeah, mine's 54.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's yours?
Johnny
55.
runs out and just goes spoon spoon,
Wow.
and they just kind of fly in the direction. But miss.
Ting.
More health in Robot
Good
Boy.
try, little one.
This thing turns to Dio and just
My
bashes Dio.
Constitution's 18.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Makes sense.
Mine's the same as yours.
I'm not very killy, but I'm quite surviving.
I have 16 for all of those stats.
So Dio takes this massive blast from the sword, and then it just walks past Dio.
I'm Captain Average.
And stands here,
And
and it takes the sword and just goes and just stabs it in the ground and just looks, waiting. Dio takes another opportunity attack and misses. Right. Fitz.
He's coming to say hello.
Don't worry, I got watch there.
7.
7. It just keeps going up
Take
by
7
1.
less damage next turn.
Whoa. That's pretty
I mean,
OP.
this is one of the things that I get taught Johnny to have. Temporary HP.
Oh.
Because he can't actually heal, so
Oh, why am I
as a
rolling
damage
like
buffer, it's a
I've
really
already
good
hit him?
idea.
A non-healing bird.
I'll take another shot at him.
It's only because he's got the wild magic. Because he could use healing word. Or cure wounds if he had.
Does 28 hit?
I've also taken
Yes.
a damn
19.
wild magic perch off.
I know, I'm just being
Birth
being silly.
Sorry, I missed that one. You shouldn't be silly.
What?
You should be realistic. My life is on the line right now.
All of our lives are on the line.
It's not looking good, guys. Alright. 11 damage.
It's not looking
He
good.
gets
rolls a 5.
he gets pushed by another 5 feet.
You get the same bonus I do to my damage. +6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I get plus another hit.
So do I.
Oh, fuck. I thought it was special. I don't want my gun anymore.
The difference between you and me is I have to get into his face and risk getting smacked back.
Aaron opts around and makes a shot at it, and it hits it and it just goes and it sort of like stumbles from the actual blast.
Take his sword.
He has attacked us first, right?
Technically, yes. He attacked you first.
Okay. Just making sure.
Dio tried to talk to it, and it wandered up, touched you, and went, oh, okay, smack.
After I grew and tried to intimidate it at the same time, yes.
So Drew, your turn.
15. I think I'll just hit him.
Do 20.
I'm not 100% sure which square he's actually on.
I think he's on the one closer to you.
He was here and he got pushed back here.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So no, he's further away from me.
Yeah.
He's out of
So,
range.
to you, not Drew.
So many days and moments where I just want to stab you.
So you can move 5 feet and go.
Yeah, that's pretty much it too. So I'm gonna move 5 feet closer to him. And first I'm gonna call out to it, see if I can get its attention. Be like, cease. Or stop.
Just yell at stop.
Or whatever likely command word would be.
Halt.
Are you yelling a command word, or are you being Drew yelling, "Hey, stop"?
No, I'm actually yelling a command word.
The way that she would have back with luggage.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Okay,
would have
Like if I was
done.
talking to her.
Roll me a persuasion.
Fuck's sake, why are you rolling me those fucking numbers?
You
You
know,
need the urine dice.
I need a dice that can roll something other than 8 over and over and over again. Because that's 9.
this one right
Does
there.
it hurt?
It slightly rotates in your direction.
Just testing. Oh yeah, of course now it rolls a 20. Cool, magic piece of shit.
I'll give you that as a bonus action. Do you want to do anything else?
I don't want to punch it in the face if I don't have to, she says.
Well, I'm trying to get it to stop fighting. It seems counterproductive to then attack it.
I understand.
Stop fighting.
Yeah, that probably won't do anything. Or would it? No, probably not. If it could see me visible. Cure wounds touch?
As what?
Cure wounds touch?
Yes. You could throw it. I'm too far away for it, isn't it? To throw it potion. Yeah.
Yes, you most certainly are.
You need 6 squares. You'd have to move. You could. You've used 5 feet. One,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can if you want to keep moving as part of the movement.
You could move to here, like directly across the line and throw it. So it's the same distance.
Well, I'd say angle more. Yeah,
Oh.
so a bit more diagonal, but that basic path that he pointed out.
So 5, 10.
For every 2
A
across.
jagged diagonal.
Yeah, for every 2 across, go 1 up.
25, 30.
Yeah. Alright, sweet. Yes. I shall throw a potiony thing
10,
to him.
15, 20. Yep, no, luggage is in 30-foot range.
2D, is it?
4d8.
I've taken technically 12 damage right now. I just healed myself on my turn. I don't necessarily need to.
How's Johnny looking now?
Johnny's been healed pretty well, I would assume from.
Yeah, you still look shit.
Still look shit?
Oh no. No.
Okay, then yeah, I'll throw it at Johnny.
He's on
instead.
18 out of
We'll just
46.
like, toss! Drink that.
No, it was before we went to sleep, yeah.
He will catch it immediately, drinking as his reaction.
3.
Doesn't even know what he's just drank.
Feels
8.
weird. What's the matter?
Brain just shut down. 8 plus 5.
13.
Yeah, sweet, I did count that right. 14.
Cool. He's looking a lot better now.
Is it
Luggage.
2 times his for Josh? For Aaron? 2 times his level? Full worth of hit points to heal with? If it's his lay on hands, I think it's something like that. But yeah, he can choose how many points he uses for me.
Yeah.
I am going to walk up to the beast thing and kind of say to it,
5, 10, 15, 20.
I'll go into, not,
Intimidatingly, but more calmly.
yeah, well, specifically, I'm saying that he's trying to tell it to stop and has not tried to attack it.
You should maybe still keep a distance.
No, and put myself in front of it. I got the hit points for it. It's fine.
Yeah, you said that.
Yep.
But
And I still got the points to heal it too. And I will pretty much say you have been requested to cease.
Roll me a persuasion.
Yeah. At least the roll's better. I just need to figure out what he actually has for persuasion. Fuck's sake. Can I open that file? I can check it out. Thank you. Okay, 15. I rolled a 15. I have 0 persuasion.
It bends down sort of condescendingly to you. Can you smell?
think so.
So you don't have a sense of smell or anything?
I don't know. I don't know if they do. I know we can eat and drink, but I don't.
Does luggage have the ability to smell? This is luggage's chance to choose whether he physically does or not.
I mean,
Yes.
Cool. It bends down and stares into your face, and you smell death emanating from its face. Roll me a perception.
14.
You look into this hood and you can't quite make out what's inside this hood.
It smells funny. Like battlefield. And death. I assume that's action taken for that. I'm not planning to attack, but I was wondering if I can use my abilities.
What do you want to do for your ability?
Put on my cloak of air.
Okay.
Disadvantage for everyone who tries to attack me.
Dio, seeing that there isn't any attacks going on, holds back. Johnny also prepares some spoons and then sort of realizes that no one's attacking, sort of looks around and goes, are we killing it?
He doesn't respond, by the way, does it? It just leaned down and smelled
It just leaned down and looked at you.
Stopped it. Kind of.
Maybe.
It stares at you and then takes its two hands, clamps them together. A bit of magic appears in front of it and it quickly draws a rune. And then you are asleep.
Do I recognize the room before it happens?
No. That's the rune is just how I use magic in this world. It casts a spell.
I was gonna say, do I?
Yes, actually, Fitz and Drew, roll me a history with advantage.
16.
should have used this one. So,
And then perception.
18.
Just normal perception.
Just normal perception for both of you as well.
18.
That's a
Wah,
7.
wah, wah,
Cool.
wah.
7.
So 10 for perception, but the other one I got
Both of you immediately recognise that an anti-magic field has just emanated from this creature. You guys staring at it. Drew, you recognise the face of this creature from a memory, from the past. This is 7.
You dickhead.
You're killing yourself.
I was about to ask what his sword looks like.
Oh god.
Yeah, Fitz, it's your turn.
I guess I don't recognise, so.
No, that's what the perception was to check. He's still wearing his cloak of elven kind, which makes it incapable of people recognising him if they roll under a perception to check.
Also explains why you fucking saw me.
Don't worry, I got another dime.
Had to make a fucking epic character, didn't you, dick?
I'll also point out for Drew who can see this, you can wear that 7 is currently wearing what looks like Warforged armour. As in he's wearing
Of course he
Warforged.
fucking is. Also, are you seriously putting us against a level
Do you know
20?
how far away
Yes.
I am from that thing?
Basically 3-manning a raid
There's a
boss right
point.
now. We're 2-manning because Drew's like putting a nerd into a ice
Being
hockey rink.
sick.
What's that?
He was being all like, I'll give you your temporary hit points.
Oh, wait.
No, you won't. So,
Pretty much nothing happened on my
get ready
turn.
for its boosting laser
Mwah,
advantage.
mwah.
That's right, I still have the low ones from last turn.
Aaron rolled high enough on his perception as well and screams out, 7! It's us! It's me! It's Aaron! And, well, it's me! It's Aaron! And 7 looks over at Aaron. And sort of drops his guard a bit. Drew, it's your turn.
I, like Aaron, follow up.
Just-
You know us. I am reincarnation of Dante. Cease, Experiment 7. Or, actually, can I remember his name?
No, because I don't even have his name.
He was just called
Wasn't it
Stefan.
like
He was
edgelord or
seven.
something
He was-
stupid?
He was always 7.
7.
Okay, it was just always 7. Okay, good.
We just called him the
Roll me a
bad man.
persuasion at advantage. It's more for whether he understand
Okay, I'll take
you
that
being
one.
Dante.
Oh,
It should be a 20.
That would have been so sad.
8.
Killed 7.
7 looks over at Drew,
Can you?
inquisitively looks at you a bit confused, and then
Yes.
looks at
You
Aaron
can kill everything.
and just kind of. And his large form, basically,
Well, it's gigantic.
is yeah.
Huge.
Just as well, because I would have gone with the nice screw it. Smells like death, kill it. And if I remember right, 7 didn't necessarily have that many hit points.
295.
1,640 years ago, he didn't have many hit points. It's been
Well,
one and
who's
a
to
half
say
cent-
that he's gotten more?
Time and
No,
experience.
that's not quite related.
Time and experience tells me
He's
you'll
still
level,
only level 20.
you'll level up.
No, he's still only level 20.
Then you know he has a fair chunk of hit points.
I don't
You
have that
got-
many.
you
I'm pretty
guys
sure
are-
Falconhoof had more.
Anyone else notice?
Yes.
We did it! We didn't kill him!
Yay!
Luggage, you
Having a
Wait.
nice nap.
you reactivate back again as anti-magic has been turned off.
No, I was having a good nap.
You aren't even aware of what the fuck just happened. 1 second there's a massive smelling of death thing in front of you. Next second it's not quite as big, still smelling of death.
And he's turned that way slightly.
And he looks like he's not even paying attention to you now.
Teleport.
What's his max hit?
Is Max hit?
Yeah.
When you make damage.
Yeah, max damage.
He was just doing standard attacks.
I was gonna say, what do you remember it as?
2d6, 2d8.
It's your character, for God's sake!
3d6 plus 3.
Jeez!
So,
And then
20.
it was a 46 because he was enlarged.
Plus.
He also has the ability to add plus 10 damage if I used Great Weapon Master.
Yeah, no, he can become a beast. He was
You-
built
you-
to fight. I charged at a level 20.
How did Aaron lose all his levels?
Isolational issues. The way magic worked back then and the way magic works now is entirely different to him. So Aaron lost his levels not because of skill, but because of his understanding of utilizing magic is different now because the world doesn't work that way. 7 has lived
That's a
through
good
all of
question.
that.
It's gonna be a good question.
I
Find
was-
out a little bit of something about the world.
I was gonna go with, you know how you go into, like, what's it called?
It wasn't a
Cryo-sleep?
troll question, that was a genuine.
And when you wake up, you feel really tired and your legs haven't been used for 6 years.
You mean how I feel every day now when I wake up?
Are you in cryo sleep?
Might as well be.
Yeah, so 7 sort of goes back and just kind of looks and goes,
Okay, this thing is insane.
just kind of looks at you guys and removes this cloak, and now you guys can see this,
Ah!
this very decayed looking face of this weird lizard person. If you didn't know any better, you'd think he was probably.
And you all roll Constitution?
No. Or if you want to.
I was gonna say make Johnny roll.
Johnny fails a con and throws up.
There we go.
Friend?
Friend. Experiment 7.
7 just kind of looks at your hand a bit and just kind of grabs your finger and just kind of examines you a bit more. And then looks over at you again. Just very confused by everything that's just going on now. And basically, not that this is relevant, but he walks over to Aaron, sort of looking all confused.
Before he does that, as he grabs my claw, or as he claws my finger, sorry, I would like to heal him after hurting him and stabbing him in the face. Karen.
Yep. He walks over to Aaron and walks up to Aaron. Aaron just kind of stands there, sort of awkwardly trying to figure out what's going on, and then gives 7 a hug, and 7 kind of half hugs him back again, and then 7 kind of looks around the room, and just confused by everything, just kind of goes, "Why are you here?" Sort of looking at you guys.
11, by the way, in case you need to keep track. In case we turn around and try and kill him again anyway. Why are we here? Milady.
Hey. Why are we here?
We are investigating Mark's evil people.
Investigating, trying to
Tracks
find
coming to
answers.
this town, terrorizing.
I sort of
Are
approach
you,
the group.
Are you in charge of the skinless and the warforged?
Yes.
You send them out for supplies and terrorize towns.
Send them for supplies. Don't terrorize.
Town's scared. Won't open door for me. I am nice and friendly.
Fuck.
Make them scared of people like me.
He stops and looks at you guys and goes, "It talks."
It
I
does.
do.
That
Dante
was-
made me.
It's unusual.
Before Dante ceased to be and became me, he also split and became
Me.
luggage.
Seven then stares at you, and you can just kind of see this vacant kind of eyes in him. And then there's this almost shine that goes over his eyes, almost like you realised he's switching visions of some kind. And then looks at luggage and goes,
I can show
"Tied
you.
fates." Huh.
I don't tire. I'm not tired.
Turns and goes, "No,
Bad
stupid
ears.
warforge. Tied fates."
Can
And then turns back to you again.
could I give him the memory of the creation?
No. Not, or unless you're showing him an image.
Yeah. Kill like that
That's what it
if
means.
possible. If
Okay.
he will.
He's a willing creature you're talking to him if you send an image to him.
Show him Dante made me. And an image of myself and
The
the thing
situation.
that I'm seeing. Or an image of Dante and Josh. Or, sorry, Aaron as I'm just waking up. Well, no, Seven wasn't there, was he?
No, Seven wasn't there.
Yeah.
He turns to you and goes,
Hey,
"Friends,
friends.
I've been lonely." And just sits down, and the room feels like it shakes as he just goes, "Whoomp."
Oh, buddy. What have you been doing this
Aaron
whole
goes and
time?
sits down next to him. And he's just like, "Everybody vanished. Things vanished. I was fine for a couple of 100 years."
How have you survived?
Turns and looks at you, and his eye almost delayedly turns and looks at you.
Just.
Event Horizon here.
No.
Echoes here. Big scary booms. All
He
over.
turns and looks at you and goes, "If you're Dante, you can fix that, right? I don't understand what's wrong with it."
Hopefully. I'm
He's
still
talking nonsense.
I'm still trying to gather information myself from my past life.
Zip.
Oh,
Dante's one standing real important one. Especially not that gnome's one.
There's so much time that we haven't seen.
he just.
I do know he needs to do a reset.
I go into low power mode. I come back up again.
He's got memories that he needs to try and access.
I wouldn't know how to do that. It's never my thing. I've rebooted some of the forges here, but they only follow pre-programmed requests.
We may have to have some more chats with Dante.
Would you like your friends back?
He's probably like, what
Pulling out
the
pieces
fuck?
of bone.
As you start pulling out pieces of bone, he goes, "You've been collecting employees?"
They have kind of... We came in and there were Warforged being made, and from what we had known, something evil was running the show.
I'm far from evil.
Well, yes, I'm aware.
I don't understand the complexities of this place, but to have power going through for things, I guess it runs on an autopilot of some kind. It keeps making shells and then dismantling the shells and then making shells. They don't do anything. So I gave them company to liven up here a bit.
Made some armor out of the skin of my brethren. That's
Would
meta,
you
not-
like to leave this place and join us instead?
No, I'm safer here. This is home.
Well, I'm suggesting a new home. We've got 5 with us, and we're gonna take them back to what is basically our castle and home.
who I assume appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, you guys are quiet, and then suddenly 5 appears just standing there. He turns and looks at
That
us.
guy.
The old man child thing. And Monty just kind of
Yeah.
kind of looks at everything and just kind of wowed by everything, and then looks at Stephen and just goes, "Oop," and then turns and faces the other way. Stephen then takes his cloak and then puts it back on again. You guys still know he's there, but now none of you can see his face unless you actively look at it now.
I will continue. I'm a goblin.
Oh, I just
High constitution, nothing faces me.
Eat all that shit.
It's like, yeah, I sometimes get that too.
Puts on his top hat.
Stick ass humans.
Sometimes we have different camouflage.
he re-stands up again. He's quite a large thing compared to all of you.
You would have friends. Actual friends.
He turns and looks at Aaron and goes, I mean, Aaron's been here, so I've never really truly been alone.
Aaron is
He was here
with us.
Yeah, I'm like, about that.
about maybe a year and a half ago. And Aaron goes, 2 years. He goes, 2 years. He stopped being here, but I thought if I stayed here, he would come back. And he did.
And
This is pretty much ruins here now. I'm thinking to slowly move and create a new place.
I've tried that a few times. You've seen my face. Not many people like me. Not many people trust the look of me. I had a log cabin in the woods for a while. I was a lumberjack for a while. I protected a forest. It didn't work out well.
Where our home is, there aren't too many.
it is
Just
safe.
a few.
It is safe.
Kind of
protected,
outcasts,
and
if you
quiet.
will. And then I just sort of gesture at myself. I mean, I'm not always welcome.
You have been alive for a while. Have you heard of Gary Boone?
No?
It's his house. We have taken. Trying to see if
Maybe.
he know, like.
We don't even know for sure if it was Gary Boone's house,
Yeah.
technically.
It was his last, at least. It is safe. It is quiet. It is peaceful. It
It's
has-
peaceful. It's quiet here. I don't get many disturbed visitors. Sometimes adventurers.
It has better defense. Well, actually, it's a single concentration save. Good save.
Company.
Yeah.
I explained the AI and the elf that has basically just obviously given up on humanity, aside from us.
And possible visits from
Us.
Aaron.
And
Yeah.
Although I can't speak for Aaron, obviously. I assume he's going to travel with us. Aaron, that is.
How do you get there?
teleport. Or airship.
I draw.
I mean, that's the other option. We have an airship.
Airships are back. Took a while. How fast does it go now?
It took us.
I player have no idea.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
know
no,
the answer to that.
I don't think a character would know either in comparison to what he's probably asking you.
Of decent speed?
It took us a day to get from there to there. From the city.
If I
Not
could
hard
compare it to like a normal kind of travel that I would know.
It's faster than horse and cart.
So a bit faster than a horse and
he
cart.
just kind of looks at you and just kind of goes, still slow then, but faster.
A speedy leisure pace.
No jetpacks. No rockets.
We all look at like, the fuck's a jetpack, bro?
No, but I meant rockets on the side of the.
Seven wanders over to the side of the room, which in this corner over here looks like just a pile of junk and things, and he walks over and picks up a bag and just starts sort of chucking random things into what you guys have now realised that immediately is a bag of holding, and sort of zips it up and then just sticks it to his side and then turns back and looks at you guys and goes, couldn't hurt. If it fails, I'll just come back here. Home's always home here.
Do you have the key to that generator?
Turns and looks over at the generator and goes, no. And then points to the handle of his sword and goes, that helped.
That helped.
You know, he's left the sword stabbed in the
True.
ground.
Good point.
Okay, so I go over to the sword and examine it.
You walk over and look at your sword. It looks like the end of it has been bent slightly, and obviously he's jammed it into the side of somewhere and just manually opened it.
Oh, luggage. Do us a favour, would you? Use the sword. Open the generator. Please.
It's not my sword. So I will...
Is it actually his sword, or is he just...
The sword that stabbed in the ground, it's Seven's sword.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'll look at him and say, could you open that, please?
Don't
I don't want to leave this place running
Any
because
strength
these
for-
Warforged and Skellybobs have been
Oh, okay.
terrorizing the town.
16.
Well, the skelly bobs are mine.
These-
So they do what I ask them to do. As for the Warforgers, I can't control what they do, so I guess I could shut them down. If we're going somewhere, it makes sense. He wanders over to the sword and just jabs it out of the ground and walks over to the side of the generator and just goes, okay. And then you hear this massive crash noise as
Sweet.
the sword is just jammed into the generator, and there's just a few sparks that go off, and he reaches in, and you hear this noise just depower, and the room just goes into darkness. Luggage can't see.
Luggage, you might want click clack lady rock, shiny rock.
I look for the one source of glowing light that there will be right now, which would be 5, with his click clack glowing
You're still
light.
holding his click clack glowing rock, and it's just like,
So orient myself to the room and figure out where the fuck I am again, and I will try and find a rock to make glowing.
Seven continues to walk around like there's nothing wrong.
Of course,
Clearly, darkness means nothing.
of course, everyone else fucking does. It's the I have a weakness. I can't see
Oh
in the dark,
no, Mr. Click Click has a weakness.
which I can technically get rid of. Being able to see in magic darkness as well as normal darkness. Back over there.
Alright.
He walks back over to the luggage and goes, 7.5 hours, you won't die very quickly. And points to sort of like the corner of you, and there's this glowing sort of ward on you. It's like, I didn't want to completely kill you, just in case.
You should give it to him. And I point at Johnny.
It look-
He dies more often. But thank you.
I didn't want to completely break another Warforge.
Protection.
Sort of. A death ward.
I'm like, that sounded like you put a countdown timer on him.
No, he gave me a 7.5 hour buffer to die. If I die within 7.5 hours, it's not as bad as you think it will be.
I can remove it if you want, but I mean, it's already there now.
And I continue to be in danger at all times. This is my mission.
So Seven looks at you guys.
Shall we climb?
I guess we need to turn the rest of the ones in the factory off, because they'll still keep going.
Yes. probably ideal.
Are you going to turn them
Or-
off with a sword?
Perhaps maybe just keep them as sentries
Probably.
and not leaving.
They,
Perhaps to keep the kobolds from attacking the town.
he cannot command them.
The ones
No,
in
but
the
we
cave,
can program them.
the ones in the cave, they won't go anywhere.
You mean
Okay.
the kobolds or the warforged?
Kobolds.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Yeah, that's just
The kobolds and the goblins tend to live in the cave, and every now and then.
I'm sorry, goblins?
Yes,
What colour goblins?
white.
So what's white? Do I remember what was white?
Underground hasn't seen sunlight,
Okay.
as in.
Technically green, but white.
No, that's grey. Grey is technically green, but white. White is technically you, but underground.
Could you take me to them?
We may also want to advise kobolds no more supplies.
Which is the other reason why I was like, we'd probably need to keep them here. Or at least keep them away from the village.
Perhaps make supply chain single warforged to pick up food, bring back once a month, once a week. We've got to go and talk to the town about it anyway. Would be the idea. Perhaps take.
Kobolds tend to be miners. And I'm using this as we head out.
You guys
Tend to be miners. Maybe they could sort out a trade deal for the town.
As you guys start walking out, Aaron walks up to you and goes, "Here, before I forget," and hands you a gun. I thought maybe you'd probably make more use of this. You might want to hang on to a bullet, because I hadn't seen them being recreated. He hands you a small pistol-looking gun.
But I got...
I thought this could come in handy for you, at least.
Another gun.
He's like, look, there's a guy with a bunch of guns. Do you want another one?
Okay.
Gift horse.
Say no.
Jeez.
At this point also, I would like to
I don't have a thing on me, but those are the stat skills of the gun that he's given you.
hand over the spade handle.
You basically are
Glock.
handed. You are basically handed the equivalent of a Glock. There's 22 shots left in it.
In it? Jesus, that's a clip. Yeah, I would like to hand Dio a spade handle.
Dio thanks you in confusion and just kind of attaches it.
You will need this in battle.
Okay, robot thing. And Dio immediately walks up next to Drew and goes, "Luggage is weird. You just gave me a spade handle."
He didn't identify it, I did.
Yeah, look at it.
Dio hands you the spade handle.
Can I take a minute to identify it as we're wandering?
Yep.
Sweet.
So I think it's like 10 minutes for the skill, or 1 minute, or
1 minute, if I remember right, as a ritual.
you guys wander out.
Oh,
Basically,
is
the
it
minute
light?
passes and you end up in.
Is it light? Does it have the light property?
Yes.
Go. Then yes, you could. So about dual wielding. To have light property to be able to properly dual wield.
I'll let you see this because you've identified it as well. And as you guys are walking, you get to the lab entrance, and we will call a break there.
What would be good for this robotic hand?
Hey nerd, do you like Dungeons and Dragons? Of course you do.
Do you like people with New Zealand accents? Of course you do again.
Well, what if we told you there was a podcast that did both of those things in equal measure?
Guess what? Here is. Wake up, bucko. It's called The Fate of Isen.
And it's your new favourite tabletop role-playing podcast.
Except for the one you're obviously already listening to, which is awesome, by the way.
We roll dice, laugh a lot, and tell a surprisingly compelling tale about a plucky group of weirdos.
Hey, who you calling a weirdo?
Who gets swept up in a quest to, quote-unquote, save the world of Isen.
There's action, excitement, and there's a lot of apples. Seriously, there's way too many apples. It got way out of proportion.
Weird as my mother's top lip.
Join us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcast action.
The Fate of Isen, new episodes every Sunday.
Get with it.
See you there.
In a world that is stemmed from the mind of a madman, a dwarf,
I am entering a maze. A maze underground.
a cat,
Just a fun little question. Do mushrooms bleed?
a lizard,
So we should kill him first?
an elephant,
Sure, I almost care about everyone else.
and a cow?
No, I'm wearing no armor. I'm a barbarian.
Yes, they band together to fight and escape the drow infested deep down under to bring news of a new threat. This is the tale of the Guardians of the gigaxy.
Hey there, you beautiful person, you. Do you like podcasts? Well, that's a stupid question because of course you do. Hi, my name is Harley and I'm from the Necropodicon Network. I'm here invading your personal space because I wanted to invite you to come check out our shows. Oh man, we have a whole bunch, just like a big old assorted bag of candy type of deal. We have true crime, comedy, TTRPGs of varying kinds, movie reviews. The list goes on, I just don't have enough spit in my mouth for that. You can find all these shows and more on our website, necropodicon.com. We also have cast and crew profiles for every show on the network. What that means is, you get to see our beautiful faces. For free! The website is constantly being updated, so come on over and have a good time. What are you waiting for? No, seriously, what are you waiting for? You're on your phone, right? Or computer? All you have to do is, I'll let you figure it out by yourself.
Hello, mate, and Towsels is here. Do you want candy? Do you want candy, mate? I don't have any, but do you want one?
That's what gnomes do. We have toilet rugs.
Can I take something home with me?
Well, that depends on what it is.
Bag of hawk shit? Touches his face with a very large scarred hand that is also covered in hawk shit.
Grisham lets you, but only because you're huge and intimidating, and he just kind of grimaces while he massages shit into his cheek.
And
we'll begin this scene.
What
Jurassic Park!
Jurassic Park! Gnome.
A gnome, not a child. A fully grown gnome. They're
He's
just
a little baby gnome.
they're just small.
You want to sit on my lap, mate?
We don't get any taller.
They're just small.
They're just small.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Ben for what? How you going?
Hi, I'm Marley Craft.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, big man.
Hello, little fella. Benford mutters to himself, "You've done well, mate." Fat men like guff.
So you take a seat. He glares at your shit sack.
This slowly expanding pool.
Yeah, the liquid is like
coming
seeping
out
out
from
of it. Yeah.
And he makes a show of picking it up gently as if he respects it, and then very kindly like putting it on the floor, not far away from the other sacks, but not on the same table.
Benford shouts quite loudly, "It's a good move, mate. It's full of shit."
Also eating a muffin. I'm sorry, I was eating a muffin. It was a very good muffin. Where I was in the bathroom stall and I overheard these young folks and I just wanted to come down, and I've always wanted to do good. So here I am. Trestle Spoon.
Just says Trestle Spoon at the end of every sentence.
And to do good, Trestle Spoon.
I was just hanging out with my two best friends, and they seemed to be pretty into it.
We don't know him.
Yeah, it's a common joke what we make with each other.
Heyo! We have returned. The party is no longer in Shitsville of fighting a level 20 character.
Getting us put on a freaking list.
We're not under threat.
It's on YouTube.
I'm alive.
It's on
So,
YouTube.
The way the party has started to leave the labs is Aaron, Johnny, Morty, and Dio are at the back. They are following, not necessarily with each other, but that's where they are in situation to you guys. You guys are Seven, Fitz, Drew, and Luggage are currently leading the charge.
And a Dio in between.
There's a Dio in between that whole chaos, yeah.
Dio stayed behind and just sat there waiting for us.
Actually, Aaron is walking next to Seven as well.
That'll be right. Trump.
So as you guys are walking, every now and then you hear Aaron sort of say something. And, like, they're talking in Lost Common, so
Yay.
only Luggage and Drew, because you have an item that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically, I take an action, turn it on. And
Okay.
it lasts for a certain period of time, but whenever it wears off, knowing me, I'm like, click.
Okay. So the conversation that's happening, even though it's in Lost Common, it's like overhearing a conversation in a train. It's not so much unless you actively listen to this conversation. It sounds more like they're just catching up.
Sure.
But it's in Lost Common as opposed to Common, so...
nothing important, but...
Yeah, it's chatting, and every now and then you hear names mentioned and things, but it sounds more like he's just explaining this is what happened for me for like 2 years, and Seven explaining the chaos that he's dealt with.
Fair enough.
And as you guys are walking through the lab, Seven and Aaron walk up to the rock, and Aaron looks like he's basically reiterating what's happened with everything, and Seven is talking about something else, and it sounds like he's explaining how he's come back over the past centuries because he was able to locate Aaron physically, but because he was in the rock he couldn't do anything and would come and go. And you guys all watch as Seven has actually pointed out on the other side of the lab. You guys probably would have seen it if you're looking for it, but there's actually a bunch of sketch marks indicating when Seven's come back to check on Aaron. But the amount of sketch marks that are there, it looks like it's a pattern.
Just that many.
So he's come back a lot.
Dang it, he got to experience the whole 1600 years.
So did you. We just need to access your fucking
No,
retarded
I
memories.
I was destroyed for most of it, or broken for most of it. You woke me up through slumber after just having had that happen before the 1600-year gap.
So Luggage experienced the 16-year gap the same way Aaron experienced the 16-year gap.
Huh? What?
Yeah, basically.
So the memories with the mole and the rest of his people, when was that?
Prior to him ending up in the hole.
So yeah, you're talking about me. I've
Yeah.
got like 2 years worth of adventures, and then
And that's when all that
the
was
mole.
happening.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Good.
Okay. Yeah.
We worked it out.
Time travel conversation convoluted. Yep.
Because we never finished that conversation.
I think we were still technically working it out at the time. But anyway, cool. Yes.
And you didn't get back to me on it, is what I'm pointing out. Dingus.
Trouble. We shall continue to trouble.
Okay.
Until we get to where we going to.
I'm getting them to take me to these goblins.
So you guys walk back into the hallway area, and you immediately hear Seven go, "Where did they go?" As you guys walk into the lunchroom where the skeletons were standing before, and they've all vanished. And he goes, "That doesn't seem right," and starts walking around.
Even Drew's like, no, that doesn't seem right, because we left them there.
You guys did. Fitz knows what happened to them.
I feel like we saw this.
No, you guys all left the room. Fitz took a while to catch up to you guys doing this.
Correct.
The only two people who are aware of it, one of them technically isn't here.
Only perception on you and that one.
You can roll an insight and Fitz can roll a deception if he's trying to hide the fact that he knows something.
Yeah, it sounds like he is trying to hide it. Okay.
22.
Oh no.
What's your deception?
10.
Did you hear Rachel's?
22.
22, yeah.
You know he's immediately hiding something.
What did you do?
As Seven is currently walking around the tables and things.
Technically, I did nothing.
What happened?
I guess they fell in a hole.
He's not lying about any of this so far.
He's hiding something. That's what Drew was able to roll, though.
Yeah.
What aren't you telling me?
I told you, they fell in the hole. It's nothing. I didn't push them in there or anything.
What hole?
That's a lie.
As luggage tries to look over the edge, but yes, that is also a deception to actually make that true. You said you didn't push them. You pushed them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I gave him a little shove. Yeah.
Are there gaps here dropping?
Just a little.
Like
Let
holes?
them out.
Yes.
Are there
I don't
holes?
have them.
In the ground.
Yeah.
There's like
I didn't
divots
shove him
and
into
things in the
my
ground, nothing
hole.
that things could have fallen into.
Jeez.
Which hole?
I look at Johnny.
Johnny's big gaping hole.
Ah. That hole.
Johnny goes, I have no idea what's going on. You can roll an insight to see if you beat a, I suppose it was +5, so it'd be 24.
19.
He doesn't look like he has any idea what's going on.
You're the only one with the hole.
We just got told he literally used that hole. Did you loan your hole? Where is your hole?
It's here. He holds up the whole handkerchief thing. The hole's here. Puts it back. But it's my hole. You'll steal it from me.
I'm not going to steal it from you. I give you shit.
I mean, technically, you did steal his bag of sand.
No, he gave that to me.
He
gave that to me.
You guys hear a click, 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 click noise on the other side of the room as there is a skeleton walking out of the kitchen area, and Seven walks up to you guys as a group and is now standing behind Johnny and just goes, "Where are they?" And Johnny goes, just sort of hands you the pocket thing. Goes, "I didn't do anything wrong. Fitz just wanted to borrow the hole, so he borrowed the hole."
Yep.
You flip out the hole, and then there's a bunch of skeletons who are all almost simultaneously going to each other, and they will kind of do this, and then
So
stop,
that's where
and
they
they look
went.
up at Seven, and almost just look in unison, and just kind of at Seven. And he goes,
So that's where they went. Oh. Funny that.
Do you need more bones?
Fold it back up.
Are you keeping them in there?
No.
No.
I'm letting them out.
You let them out?
That's what
They are neither of their property.
So they're in the hole looking up at him is what you mean?
Yeah.
Ah. Get up. Get your guys out.
Seven just looks at them and just points, and they all go. And they start walking out and stand next to him, and the hole is just basically what it was before. You can fold it up and give it back to Johnny. Yeah.
Do you want me to put the bones in there instead?
I twat him on the head with it. Actually, on the nose. And then, because I can't reach his head, to be frank.
I mean,
And then I hand it back to him.
Technically, it was the cat who did the bad thing.
I don't care.
I'm saying, like, whack.
A small tear comes to the side of Johnny's face as he turns. Sort of a pain.
They would have been good helpers.
Yeah, tear of joy gets off on it.
He
Weird ass bloody.
walks away from you guys a little bit more.
You just but these were free. These are free.
Tim just kind of looks at you guys and goes, "Why did you want my skeletons?"
Oh, you know. They seem to be good at possibly digging holes. Maybe, I don't know.
The same form of purpose as you have had. Uses. Many hands for light work.
He turns and goes, "They were company."
All of them? Including the hallway that we just crushed a bunch of?
Some of them. Some of those ones were ex-adventurers I brought in with me.
Oh, well,
These guys were ex-staff, and points to the group of them who all immediately go, as he goes like this, sort of showing the group of them.
Do you need them back? Should I not have taken the bodies?
The ones in the hallway?
Yes.
I mean, once they're dead, I have to deal with them again, don't I? No.
Dead as well?
Well, I guess they're coming with us anyway, since they follow you, you know, so...
I have a feeling they'll stay right here.
Hmm.
This is their home.
I don't know what the hell you were gonna do with them. You couldn't command them. That's half Drew, half me as well.
I might have figured
to
something
Fitz
out.
and to Mikey.
I might have figured something out.
Yes, you could have beat the crap out of them until they stopped being animated and then raised them from the dead again.
So we need... So do you want them for something in particular?
They
Roll
just
my
want
persuasion.
Oh my gosh.
Go again.
Oh my gosh.
I can give you skeletons that are animated and
These
working.
ones have character.
Could make
Is
new
he
ones
go-
that can have
Are you going
character.
again?
Yeah, I rolled it.
Okay.
12?
Yeah. That's not high enough.
I mean, this is an okay guy. Would 7 allow someone to take his Skelly Bob friends?
Are you rolling again?
Making me feel like I don't need
Yeah,
to.
you're rolling against yourself, apparently.
I just want to know, are you rolling again?
Are you or aren't
You're
you?
still persuading a creature. Even though he's technically your creation, he's my NPC at this point.
Yeah.
How likely?
I want to be very persuasive.
That's a bit weird.
16.
Would have been really funny.
Fitz, you turn to 7 to speak. The world freezes. No one is currently moving. You go to speak.
Ha! Ha 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 ha!
You look down. The gem in your ring starts spinning like crazy.
Oh no.
You went again one too many times.
Did I ask too much this time?
You look at it for a moment. And then it explodes.
And takes off your hand.
You are now
The ring shatters in front of you. And there's this blast of light. And you're just like, ah! And then you look up. And there is a female tabaxi-looking woman standing in front of you.
What are you trying to do to this?
She's a cat.
How many nipples does she have?
He was very disappointed, but now he's not so disappointed.
The party suddenly sees right in front of Fitz a tabaxian female in very elegant looking outfits with 9 tails. And she looks to you and goes,
My equipment's
Fitz.
prepared.
You freed me. I was trapped.
Oh my god.
The use and reuse of my power weakened the thing that had me trapped in there.
Can you still use your power?
It's a blessing. I'm a god. I was trapped inside that ring.
We're all
Yeah,
witnessing
you're
this.
all hearing this.
Literally got the like the anime. What the fuck?
So you have it, guys.
God?
I freed a god.
What a god.
She goes,
Commander?
would you like to continue to use that power of mine?
Is there any drawback?
Yes.
You know there is. Think how many
it's
tails
my-
she has.
It's my power.
Can't trust anything with multiple tails.
Is there any other options?
Literally cannot trust anything with multiple tails.
You won't be able to do your skill of reusing things again. It's a blessing of mine. I'm no different to any other god in the world. I was just trapped.
Definitely can't trust gods.
Would you like to accept my blessing?
I mean, I did free you.
I just want to say yes.
Technically, you're my property for a little while, but okay, I suppose you can go free.
That is not how
It's not how I
property
should-
works.
She walks up to you and pats you on the head and goes, "Will you accept my blessing?"
Yeah, fine. Better than nothing.
And she turns to the rest of you and goes, I have a world to rediscover again. And there's this blinding light, and then she's gone. And anyone who's looking at Fitz notices that Fitz's tail looks like it has a bit of ethereal energy around it, and there are 2 other tails behind it. You have access to 3 tails of that.
Upgrade.
I'm a magical kitty now.
You're Naruto.
I have been counting the use of your ring. Every time you rolled a natural 20, I added 2. You rolled it about 90 times. 10 of those of which were natural 20s. Up to a limit of 100 to 3.
That's a lot of... And I go again!
I created this about 4 or 5 sessions into this game. This has been a long time coming, sir.
Now I know why he's trying to specifically get you to answer the question so I can give you the cool stuff.
In terms of your persuasion roll, what did you roll in your re-roll?
16.
Which was kind of distracted by the blessing of a god. 7 kind of looks at you and goes,
You don't need it, you just got the blessing of a god, fuck off.
I can lend you a couple if you want.
Yes, please.
He walks over to a couple of them and sort of moves 3 of them out. You can put them back in that hole again if you want. Crazy god-blessed cat.
You are crazy.
I'll accept it.
Just like the blessing.
He turns and goes, I guess we're going now?
Drew's still just...
He walks over to the other skeletons, and you guys watch as 7 sort of opens this hole and the skeletons start climbing into the bag of holding that he's just sort of holding for them to climb into. So
You have got a bag of holding, you can chuck them in there instead.
I can't fit that much stuff in my hole. My bag.
The bag of holding could take 3 skeletons.
Yes, I've got quite a few other things.
He has a bunch of other crap in there as well. He probably could take the 3, but not been taking anything else.
So I need to empty my
We are going to end up emptying that bag soon anyway. Or
You-
you're just
you
going to
could-
carry all the Warforged parts in one
You can put the 3 skeletons in your bag. You can no longer put anything else in your bag of holding though.
Well, might as well have them in the hole.
Okay.
The hole that's not in your possession.
It'll be soon.
We'll do a trade. It'll be soon enough. Don't you worry.
Johnny, you watching this?
Johnny will give you the hole again to collect the 3 skeletons.
Nice.
7 says, just tell them. They should listen.
This is Sparta. Thank you. Long live the king.
Essentially, each time you tell these skeletons, you have to roll a persuasion at disadvantage for them to listen to what you're telling them to do.
Roll the alarms.
Mind that. Please, just mind. Please, just mind it. Mind it, please. Please.
Persuasion disadvantage. Persuasion disadvantage. Persuasion disadvantage. I go again.
You can still do that.
I'm gonna annoy the crap out of that god. It's like, oh my god, look, I was right in the middle of something.
So yes, we were going to
Kobold.
I'm still
the kobold / goblin.
Still slightly stunned.
Right,
As
go.
I
Can be
continue
slightly
on. Yeah,
stunned
I'm just
while
like,
walking.
the hell did I just what?
Luggage, you noticed when the light flashed off because you can't see in the dark, your eyes picked up on everything a lot quicker. You noticed the light seemed to trail out the way you guys had come, almost like this god is just using the same route back. That's more RP than anything else.
Gods are powerful. Yes?
Yeah.
Why did it have to move through non-ethereal plane? Like it just contemplating the
Depends on the
religious
kind of
side
god
of
it
this
is.
world.
Because I keep wondering.
And we will wander to The kobold.
So you guys start
It
wandering.
might be the kobolds.
Sorry, the
Goblins.
goblins is what you're looking for. That's
You wander around and Seven goes.
married.
You want to go in there, pointing to the two kobold guards
Huh.
of the village. And he goes, the goblins and kobolds are down there. I'm gonna stay here. They don't like me. Well, some of them know of me. I usually stops and looks back at Fitz and everyone else and goes, I usually made trade with the skeletons with them. They would come up, give something to the skeletons and trade it back. So I've not interacted with any of them in the last couple of years.
I have basically already made friends with the kobolds and have made it so that our party is friendly with them.
Fair enough.
But however you please, we will be back.
Aaron goes, yeah, you guys go ahead. I'm just going to catch up with Seven. And Seven goes, yeah, we'll hang out here, and wanders over to the staff area and pulls one, like puts his hand in the bag over, pulls out a skeleton and just throws it into the kitchen, and it walks up, and you see it go like this, and he goes back to it, and the skeleton nods and turns and starts grabbing things on the back of the thing, and Aaron sits down and goes, ah. As it appears it to be following things. 3 tails at the moment. Yes.
So, the tails being active means they get the passive buff off that level, not all previous plus that level, right?
No, it's just that.
I was going to say that's fucking ridiculous. He's a god. Okay, so you
there are rules for unlocking each tail.
You currently have this active.
Yeah.
And then if you use that, you'd go to +5, but you get an auto 10 plus.
Is it if he rolls something, it's considered having a 10 plus onto it when he's rolling. It's like
so +10 to the roll.
No, like it
starts at 10.
There's I think it's a rogue skill that does that or something, where if you roll below something, you can just go 10.
Cool.
It's
Sorry.
that.
Yeah, that's what I want to make sure of, because that's different. And if that's not successful, he can use his actual go and roll, or it's just that's the result.
The single use of a tail is a go again. He can use that 3 times. But if he uses a 2, then he only has 1 use of a go again.
Gotcha. So he can use X amount of tails to get an auto 15 or an auto 15 plus dex or whatever it is. Or just as 1 and reroll. Cool. That's pretty buzzy. But that also is very, very scary.
I don't expect him to get to that until you guys are sitting at similar skilled things to begin with.
Yeah.
Which is why it's pretty buzzy, but it's also it's accurate to
AC.
Yeah, the
so
plus
basically
2
your
dex
party
total is actually the
consists
same
of
as
Drew,
plus 2 AC.
Fitz, and luggage wandering to the village.
No,
Because I will assume Dio, Johnny, Aaron, and Seven are sitting out, and it's easier for me.
Free AC.
It's easier for me to be able to
21
keep track of what the fuck's going on.
No, it's one or the other. Whatever's active at the time.
Okay.
Yep, so
don't
you
have
wander up
plus
to
1 dex,
Yep.
plus 5 movement, and plus 10 feet dark vision.
the 2 kobolds
Plus
turn
1 dex.
and just
If you have
Undercommon. Hello, friends.
5 tails active,
Yeah, then it'll be
Ow.
gone.
then it'll be plus 2 dex.
I've
that's
already
it.
acquainted myself
Just
with
plus 2 dex.
whatever the fuck that goblin is.
That's
Chomping.
plus 2
Yep.
dex total.
Come in peace. I'm seeking the
Oh,
goblins.
sorry, I read it as
you're a different colour.
Yeah, they're
So you
the
get 20
subterranean version
was
of
it
it.
plus 2 dex? My total dex.
Subterranean.
Underground version.
So
We are underground. Yes, the other one goes. Yes,
Yes,
underground.
yes.
Rolling
Yes,
persuasion
five
and
tails.
advantage.
you would have 20 dex there.
Already
22 dex.
For fuck's
Yeah.
sake.
And then when it gets down to there, I'll also add 2 there. Yeah.
I think it's
Plus
a
1
7.
because of the dex.
You wouldn't have the
7?
22 dexterity.
They kind of
Plus 2
nod
dex.
to each other. Yeah, underground.
It's
Yeah.
whatever
Underground. Yeah, we're underground.
Getting.
What's that thing doing here? Those things are scary, pointing at luggage.
That's friend.
Luggage, as
Different
you know,
from
luggage
others.
is just passive following.
Yeah, I know.
Until told, threaten, and
Yeah.
attack.
He's with me.
He's resting.
One of the ones on the side turns and they sort of bump look at each other and they go,
22.
and then
Yeah,
they point to like a
if
very
you
decayed looking
have
box
8 tails active,
that
you
looks
don't
like it
get
probably held
plus 2
mining
dex.
equipment and things, but it's very broken
You
and
get
goes,
plus 2
ah,
AC.
weapons in box.
Everything else, it's just that.
Wakey, wakey, boys.
red box.
There is a box that's very decayed, and one of the kobolds has weapons in box, pointing to the box for you to
Telling me to get weapons.
There are no weapons in the box. He wants you to place your weapons in the box. They seem to be more eyeing up fits than anything else.
Fuck, you two need to pay more attention.
I'm trying to help him understand his own bloody item. Okay.
Maybe later.
I think I got it.
I will put my sword in the box, or my hammer in the box, or my mace, or my... I don't know.
Yep.
You assume it's a hammer still?
It's still a hammer. You haven't killed anything with it yet.
I was gonna say, have you been carrying it around, or have you not just had it in your head?
No, because if I had it in my head every single time I have to go to combat, it would take me a turn to prepare myself. I assume they're not going to stop me from carrying around a shield.
They will stop you from carrying any weapon. If you turn and walk up, they go and keep pointing at the box.
Would they know what a gun is, though?
Armor, yes.
They are.
How do you carry it? Is more the question. Like, is it in view?
A walking stick.
Armor.
Box. Roll me a persuasion at disadvantage luggage if you want to keep your shield.
Fitz is going to try and emulate how that old
Could
man
just say
walked
it's
with the
part of
gun.
it.
It's a walking stick, yeah.
Roll me a deception.
12?
No!
Would you like to go down to 2 tails and
I'll
get
keep
plus
it
5
for-
movement?
I'll keep it as
And the passive just always happens, right?
The
It's
passive
always
is,
on.
well, it's active, it's passively doing that, and then he loses the passive when he loses the tail.
Yeah, so as long as he's got his 9 tails going, he'd have his plus 4, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he uses a go again or whatever,
my
and
God.
then drop down to whatever it is. Yes. So it's if you have 8
So it's
tails,
just the one that's out.
So the response to your roll, they both shake their heads and point at the box again.
It's only a 6 for deception.
You gave up your hammer.
They both
Willingly.
point.
It's not a weapon.
Sure.
Lockridge doesn't see the logic in it.
You're arguing with kobolds.
So it's arms of sorts, which is weapons.
Fitz is going to
And shield bash.
quite try and sneakily...
All I'm gonna say,
Don't
shield bash.
Don't have shield bash.
Fitz is
Not
gonna
the
try
point.
and sneakily
I'm the weapon.
put away his rifle into his bag of holding and quickly pull out a crummy gun and hope they don't notice it. He's pulling out a
Roll
broken
me a
one.
sleight of hand. Same rolls.
But it's okay. 17.
Cool. Yep. They look pleased that you've put this gun in this box, and the two of them sort of step back, and one of them taps this like what looks like a very broken kind of mine shaft kind of shack thing, and a little slit opens up, and there's this draconic conversation that goes on, and then the slit closes, and then there is the sound of a click, and the door opens slightly, and the two kobolds just go. The door's open, you guys can go in.
Oh, you said slightly. Can
And
he
the-
fit through that?
No, the door just went ajar because whatever was locking it seemed to hold it closed, so unlocking it has released the door.
Ah.
They
swung slightly open now.
Yeah.
It's free.
Gotcha. Okay, yep, sweet. In we go.
Actually, as a better question, no, he's not with us. I was going to say, as a better question, can fucking 7 fit through there?
No, 7 is catching up with Aaron.
That's what I remember now.
Also, you're bigger than 7.
You're larger.
Wider,
Seven-
okay.
yeah.
But then
He might be a
7
bit
has
tall,
to carry
but-
his sword, you know. That's
As a tall person, trust me, we're not that big.
I take up more weight than that, though.
Yeah, but can you imagine his
So-
long ass massive sword trying to navigate that through little...
Yeah,
Yes.
it's called holding it in front of you like an intelligent person, not waving it like this. But, yeah, okay, cool.
It would also be in the box.
That's a good point. I'll get you. Continue to
So, yeah, continuing on.
The door opens, you guys walk through, and I'm going to keep track of this. This is going to be fun.
Hey, no shit, no.
So you guys walk in, and basically it's when there is a wall that seems to be in front of you, and it seems like a corridor goes one way, and then almost in between two walls is a very skinny hallway that appears to just have a bunch of random junk and things that have just piled it up. And standing on the opposite side are another 2 more kobolds, and standing in the middle of the 2 of them as you guys walk in is a white goblin who looks like he's standing very proper as you guys walk in, and he's just kind of watching you guys as you walk in.
Do you think if we killed him, we would
Our throne is standing.
Donk! Just watching Drew wait for him to hear that so I can just like smack.
Why are you know what I mean at the goblin you're traveling with?
This white goblin kind of looks at you and then in goblin it's just like, hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
You don't understand
No.
goblin, do you? Hello in goblin.
You could say
He's just
the
saying
same word back to him, but
It sounds like a weird noise.
Oh, for the record, I knew what they were saying in Draconic.
Cool. It was basically a conversation of, they don't have any weapons, they're
For
safe to
future.
come.
In case the language gets said.
If
I will
Drew
know.
starts hearing a conversation he can't hear, he'll probably activate that. If it's not already active.
Okay. He turns and goes, you're different.
I was thinking the same, but I heard about you and figured
I'm...
you're the underground version of me.
Okay. That would make sense. I don't think I've been anywhere near this hot surface area, so maybe if I was on the surface I would look like you. You're a very nice shade of white. For the record, luggage, you barely see him, as there is not much light in this area.
Until I'm 10 feet
click,
away from him.
shiny rock.
What do you see my tails though? Do my tails emit light?
They don't emit light, but yeah. I think it says it in there that you can choose to have them be visible when you want them to be, or not.
But they won't emanate enough light for me to be able to
But a creature who uses detect magic or anything like that will be able to see the tails
I've got
totally.
something this. It's this. We only have 2 fingers and a thumb. And 2 toes.
He goes, what brings you here?
I just heard there were fellow goblins and was intrigued. Wished to meet them.
Oh, so you've come to have a look around the village.
Yeah, I usually only encounter green goblins. Although there was that one red one.
I've seen ones. He looks at you like he's proud of this particular bit of information.
We have also
They're pretty rare, so it's quite neat to see them.
I've seen pictures of them.
Oh.
We have pictures of them.
We've also seen dead mechanical goblins. Goblins
It's
too.
subterranean versions of me. They're quite on top, which means they might have books.
Well, you don't bring weapons in. It's everything safe. Follow rules. Goblins like me, you can see he's actually kind of wearing a bit sort of makeshift kind of armor, but it looks very less for practicality, more for formality on him. Like if you hit it, it'd probably fall off, but he looks like he's intimidating in a way. He goes, ones who look like me and ones who look like them, pointing at the kobolds. They are protectors. Listen to them. Respect them. Yes, respect them.
Translate that to you.
Drew and luggage both turn to Fitz and Johnny.
No, just
Johnny
Fitz.
isn't. It's just Fitz.
Is Johnny not there?
No, those who are currently not here are physically not here.
I would just have put Johnny straight into the box. Stay.
So the 2 of us.
Also,
turn
Johnny
to
would
you,
not want to go anywhere near goblins.
looking directly at you as luggage, just forgetting the fact that you can't.
I give you the
understand this
rundown.
language. Just turns to you and looks at you.
It's like normal society. Just play it cool, dude.
He turns and then in common goblin, he says, "Does this make easier conversation for you?"
Does he roughly?
You can understand this. It's common, but it's very broken common.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Start conversation like that, then they should know to talk to you like this. Those who can talk like this. And then,
I talk like this.
And then under common, he said something else, and I don't think you speak under common, which is basically all like this. Which you understand. And then he turns and goes, not everyone can speak this good speech. Us white ones are good like this.
Under common.
We can speak a few.
He can.
You can?
That's his other language.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can understand him.
Oh, you could have been talking to the kobolds too.
I don't talk to these uncivilized beings. No.
You're a
That was
cat.
one of the things we did.
It's a miracle you speak at all.
Was we're trying to make sure that you could generally
Hiss that
have
stuff.
a conversation with
Meow.
someone.
And sing annoying sounds in the middle of the night. Irritating little shits. They're running through the house like a crazy man. What's your issue? Are you a cat? No.
Yeah, the white goblin goes.
Crack-headed creatures.
Do you carry the shinies?
What?
He pulls out a copper coin and then a silver coin. Do you carry the shinies?
I probably have some, yeah.
We do have market section for
Oh,
tracking.
I see.
Do you have these shinies? And he pulls out the diamond.
Oh, yep. Some of us have those shinies. Smaller shinies. We like to trade in the shinies. Trade with the shinies of shines.
Trade for shinies.
And sometimes, and he pulls out like this weird dead-looking crab thing. It's sometimes in the meat.
Oh,
and
there
then
you go.
immediately starts eating it.
Seafood. Well, what languages do you speak?
Common and undercommon, that's all.
That's it. Never mind.
I just gave him general. We were talking about just general conversation, I think, at the time. Most places you go, you'll either talk common
The
or
white goblin
undercommon.
steps back and just
Thank you.
be careful of leader. He is in charge of things. But you won't accidentally walk into him because he is in the protected room.
And I would like to ask the name. Ask him, is this his name? Because I had it written down on my book, and I forgot my book. You know the name of the goblin of the kobold leader.
The kobold leader.
We're in a group of kobolds and goblins.
Yep.
Okay. That's what
So
I'm
we would
questioning.
I would assume that the kobold leader.
But I can't imagine intelligent goblins wanting to at all follow kobolds. Because kobolds aren't intelligent.
I don't think they gave you the leader. I think Chompy just said to you, our leader lives here. I don't think
Not
you
even
get-
Chompy. It was one of the randoms.
No, it was Chompy when you guys were in the hallway. Or no, it wasn't Chompy. It was one of the ones who was in the trap. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't even.
And Chompa. No, I just realised it's right here.
Yeah. But he didn't even give you a name. They just said the leader.
Yeah. The kobold leader.
Yeah.
Which I guess may actually be a goblin. We don't actually know.
Yeah.
Might be
So
another.
he brought a kobold with him.
Then we will murder him.
First.
I mean, no, I'm kidding.
One of Dante's past lives, and Dante made mention of it, the fact that the kobold had come in and had stayed here for a couple of
Have
weeks.
them brought by someone to this place. His pet or
That's
something,
right.
and they-
Dude's pet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Goblins get well with being treated as a pet. Especially not us white and yellow ones.
Goblins, right. You said kobold, and I was like, have you not seen any dragons?
Kobolds
The
are
kobolds
all
the
about
pretty
servitude.
Pets of dragons.
Derpy little critters.
We will wander through this village. Or this
So as you wander through this sort of entry area, you walk past what looks like a few like boxes of supply things, and sort of peering at them, you notice they're just boxes, looking like they've built up like makeshift walls to make like a hallway, and that's about it. That's all these purposes seem to bring. You could probably just knock them over and they would just make a mess. Like it's essentially a blanket fort of boxes.
I need to get my earth and stone.
Teleports.
And make them
Teleports.
As you guys walk into the main entrance area of like you walk through this main entrance of boxes and things that have actually been sort of stacked, like you know when you put rocks and things together like this, they're actually arched like that. So there's a bit of architecture skill behind this, but they're not nailed down or anything. So walking in, you basically are greeted to a massive open, what would look like to my players for describing what would look like a hall, in that it was a factory kind of like open garage of sorts, and there looks like there are a few. There looks like there are a few what look like stalls on the sides of things, and some of the stalls have a couple of kobolds and a couple of goblins who are looking on the younger age of things, and another one looks like it's talking to them, almost like it's a little school going on. You have on the other side of the room, basically lined up on the back wall, that just sort of travels from one side of the room to the other, a bunch of random items and things, and there is a goblin and a kobold who are currently walking back and forth. And there are a few other ones who are walking in between them. You do hear a few sort of sounds of beatings and arguments going on, coming from around the corner from where you guys are. You can't see this, you can just hear it, you can just assume there's probably some sort of pit fight going on. It sounds like a combat and beating going on.
Oh, combat beating. But it's gambling.
And then
Full gambling there too.
There as you look around this room, there are other sort of there's groups of kobolds and goblins who are just in stations.
Kill them, leave them alone.
Stationed around the room who seem to just be chatting to each other. The moment you guys have come in, a lot of them kind of turn and look at you guys. There is bits of light in here, so luggage can see without an issue.
Cool.
They've got not light sort of blinding, but light so that they can.
We would definitely stand out though, being at least 2 feet taller than most of them.
Yep.
Most of us would be.
On the opposite side of the room, there are 2 sets of kobolds who are standing up guard against one door, and another 2 sets guard up against another one, and there is a white goblin who's standing in between one of the furthest away sets who's standing at the door, just kind of looking around like he's just the one to talk to if you want to go behind him in this door. There is a above the other 2, there is a hanging sign that looks like it has a box that has been just like they've picked up a box and just hammered it to the sign. So instead of drawing a picture, it's just this box that looks like a storage box. And as you guys are all intelligent, I will just give you this. You can assume this is their storage facility.
And there was the goblins and kobolds walking back and forth.
Yep.
Against the far wall. That's their version of a market where the stuff is.
Yep, basically there is a marketplace going on, and the ones who are walking back across are the trading market area of sorts. And as you guys look around, you also notice that there is a minecart sitting on a mine track just in one part of the room, and the ones who are at the stall seem to be walking over and chucking things into this cart.
Right, luggage has 2 desires. Wants to go and see what's at the shop.
Okay.
Just purely for the sake of, I'm curious as to what goblins have.
Yep.
/ kobold. And beat the snot out of some kobolds and goblins. I have no abilities anymore. It's literally just beating the snot out of them, and I'm not technically that good at that, really.
Consider your strength.
+3.
I'll give you this as well. Consider the stories of the walking through the raiding parties of the Warforgers that walk through that they don't fight.
Yeah.
You probably won't succeed in convincing them to fight you.
Even if I put like 5 of them in there. No.
Fitz can go in there.
One punch and you'd probably knock them into a coma.
Alter self.
To what? Because apparently you can only grow.
Just all stay same size. Who man? Just a plain who man. No, I'm gonna go to the market.
Just give you the little
Come on,
monocle. And if you look like an oversized.
Are you all going as a group to this market, or are you separating?
Fitz will go.
You 2 need to stay together at least.
Fitz will go to the.
Because you at least speak Goblin and he at least speaks Undercommon.
So a conversation can happen.
So between the 2 of you, you can talk to kobolds and goblins.
Right, okay. Yes.
Fitz could go to the pit fight and just pull out his Glock.
First one to pick it up probably wins.
See, now, they would probably potentially fight you, because you're not that much bigger than them.
So what's happening?
And you're soft and furry, so they might be like, hey, fun!
Are you coming to the marketplace too?
I have no interest in the marketplace. I'm just trying to find information out.
Okay, so as you guys split off, you will notice immediately when you start heading towards the market, all the kobolds and goblins see you guys walking in that direction and start sort of, whether they were close to you or not, have actively moved their little groups to the side.
Good. They're making the tide. Clearing the way. Because they don't want to be squashed under my feet.
As you're doing this, a goblin is sort of wandering through and it drops something as its parent is pulling it along. And it lands in front of it and they look up at you and go, "Ah!" As the little kid one wants to try and grab the item as you're walking approach.
Pick up whatever the fuck it was if they don't...
It's a rock that has been carved to look like a little goblin.
Hand over the rock goblin thing.
The goblins have not stopped and they have been moved aside.
Fitz will
and the little
touch
one
it
is sit behind you.
and make it glow.
I was going to make it say something in Goblin.
Well, now you can have to do both.
I know, I can do both.
Okay, will you do that then?
Call out in Goblin.
I throw rock.
Don't throw the rock, dingus.
With my arm arched back, ready to toss this, I will call out, "You dropped your toy!" in Goblin.
The little goblin turns back and goes, "Ah!"
And I will kneel down at that point.
And it
reduce
sort of
the
looks at its
size.
mother, and the mother sort of pulls the child behind as they just stand about 10 feet away from you, and she sort of slowly moves back.
I
Mind
notice
me.
because I'm keeping an eye on them.
It's
And
very obvious that a lot of these...
to Goblin, I call out to her. He's friendly.
The mother stops, looks over at you, and its eyes go from curious to almost surprised, and a few of the other goblins sort of start staring at you.
Because I'm dressed in fineries and
It's a
and
fine-looking
gold.
yellow goblin. Essentially, it's a golden goblin to them.
Oh, I am your god.
It's a C-3PO situation. And they all kind of start. They all look at Drew. The mother lets go of the hand, and the little one runs up and goes,
Hand it over.
takes it, and it scratches your hand. And then turns
Like
it
you
into
wouldn't feel it.
Anytime it hugs it, it will say in Goblin, "I love you."
It walks over and stands next to its mother, and then it's holding it like this, and then it says, "I love you," and it just drops it. And then it's like, "Mum, it talked," and the mother goblin looks at it and looks at you.
Fixed your toy. It's also glowing bright as well. It may have noticed some changes. I fixed it.
It's a shiny
You,
now.
you guys
In a
realize
way.
that that's gonna stop doing that.
When I make a new click clack glowy rock. Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
It's shiny.
And you do know that the way it works, technically, like either your rock or Monty rock has turned off.
The original first rock I had that I had to throw away. Yes. Okay. I am keeping track of the 3 items I have. Yes.
Because I don't think you are.
I have 2 glowing rocks and a thing that says "I love you."
The sequence of how
This little interaction looks like the rest of this sort of village has sort of realised you guys aren't actually a threat, and will now no longer run from you, but also don't seem like they want to approach any of you.
That's fine.
Drew, you do notice a few of them are approaching you though.
I speak to the kid and I'm like, temporary magic. Enjoy it while it lasts.
It turns at you and goes, "Temporary lasts." You can assume this goblin is probably like 1. Just based off just how...
Temporary.
It's not a very...
I just look at the mother.
This goblin is also, compared to the others being quite white, this one is quite grey.
No.
So it hasn't quite become white.
Luggage will walk up and see what is on.
I've realised that statement, but I'm going to stick with it.
I mean, it's all been really, really on edge. Right on that grey area.
Luggage really just wants to have a look at what's available. Just curious, as supplies are generally a thing that I like to look at.
Yep, so you guys walk up to this supply shop of sorts, and there are a few other kobolds and goblins who are standing nearby who have just been looking at things, and as you guys approach, they sort of turn and look at you, and then they just kind of don't make eye contact with you. And a kobold and a goblin sort of start walking one direction, look at each other, and then look at you guys, and then they start hurrying a little faster, and they get in front of you, and an uncommon and goblin, you both hear, "Hi, how can I help you?"
Hello. You sell things. What things?
They're both. Is it goblin or?
Goblin from me.
Okay, the goblin looks at the kobold and with this almost smug grin goes, "We have many wares here."
You gonna make the kobold feel better?
Just show us what you got.
The kobold turns to the goblin and goes, "Of course." And the kobold walks one way and the goblin walks another way.
Oh, fantastic. And then like, as they're running up, and then they cross paths.
And
am I meant to follow you or him?
The goblin goes, "This way, my fine friend."
Okay, this way.
Okay.
And the kobold looks at this and just goes, and grabs something from its shelf, and an undercommon goes, "Are you sure you do not want this? It is a fancy thing, of course. It can be used for fighting." He appears to be waving a stick in the air.
Is it actually just a stick?
Roll me a perception.
It could be a wand. You are an artillerist. That is technically something you know. But that's a wand.
There's a stick.
You're
that's just waving in
intrigued.
the air. It's a very fancy looking stick.
He's speaking what you understand, so you're intrigued.
15. Is it still a stick?
It's a stick with what looks like some sort of creature attached to the end of it as he's waving it like this.
It's a freaking cat toy.
What kind of creature, and is it alive?
There's a slight bell ringing sound.
You couldn't quite make out the creature.
One moment, please. Follow the goblin.
You're just following
How many shinies?
Are you
for your stick?
walking out to the kobold? As you walk up, the kobold places the stick in front of you. It is a stick. On the end of it, there appears to be a scorpion that has been tied to the end of the stick. And he goes, "What shinies do you have?"
Oh.
Fitz will whip out one silver piece at the start.
Oh, it's one silver piece.
Between his fingers. Yeah. I got this shiny.
He looks at it, taps it, and goes, "Meltable shiny. Yep, you can have the stick." He hands you the scorpion on a stick.
Do you have anything else?
I have lots of things, and he sort of points at this rack of. It's very unorganized, but there just appears to be sort of odds and ends and things. Roll me an investigation.
Fitz will just poke.
You poke the scorpion, and the scorpion is just sitting like this, and you poke it, and it goes, "Grr," and this tail just goes.
It's a scorpion on a stick.
Sting, sting, spiky scorpion.
How am I gonna hold them?
With your hand. It's on
On the stick.
You go like this. Yeah. And the scorpion goes, "Ah."
How do I hold it? How you been holding it?
I mean, like, how am I going to carry it? If I put it on the
it seems pretty passive until you tapped it.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good question. You're buying it. I don't care. Give it to me. I'm immune to poison.
You're the one that paid a silver for it, you crack it.
It's the lowest thing. I don't have compass.
No, but you have a bunch of just metal. All those warforged parts that you picked up
Anyways,
on the way.
what else you got?
What else are you looking for?
And then Fitz will pull out the gem. This shiny?
What do you want for that?
No.
What are you
No, do
looking
you have that?
Do I have that?
Yes.
And he disappears under the desk.
At least he's saying, no, you have it.
And you hear this rummaging noise.
It's not going to be another abomination like this, is it?
He's sort of rummaging through a bunch of these boxes that seem to be here, and he stands up and goes, and then just hops onto the table and hops past you, and you watch him wander over to the minecart, and then jump into the minecart, and then scrummage around for a bit there, and then he hops out of the minecart, walks over, and stands back on the table, and then hops back down, turns back, and goes, bang, and places a ruby in front of you.
Oh shit, okay.
Okay.
It's like...
size of a...
And it has a scorpion wrapped around it.
There's a bit of rock around it, but it's an uncut ruby that he just...
Fitz is going to try and hide his excitement now. And he's going to be like... I mean, okay.
Another meltable shiny.
2 silver.
2 meltable shiny.
3.
Blink, blink.
Yes.
Okay. Roll me a persuasion.
Is that number actual?
Yes.
Jesus. I mean, it's not nothing compared to actual gold.
My persuasion's not very good. 4. Okay. 10. 10 silver.
That is a hell of a jump. You went from 2 to 10.
4 to 10, thank you very much.
So 4.
Yes.
He didn't stay very long at each number though.
Right. 2, 3, 4, 10.
Ah, right, okay.
The kobold goes...
It's still a hell of a jump.
Smile on his face.
It said 8.
5th. 50.
50.
Yeah, sure, that one.
Fitz will turn around.
You can roll it inside, based off what he said.
Jesus, I'm using the wrong dice.
Yeah, no, he said 50.
Yes, Fitz will turn around and he's going to try and snap the coins in half.
These are silver. You can't just snap silver.
Have better luck with gold, friend.
What about?
What? Do you know the conversion of
Yeah,
coins?
50s. I don't actually have.
No,
50.
but you can give him gold worth it. He may not understand how that works, but you might be able to trade 10 gold ones instead, or something along those lines.
That's
10.5 to 1 or 2 to 1.
I'll give you this. The trading with these guys won't be a normal trade.
No, that's what I imagine. That's why I just try to start with a silver or 2 silvers.
How about fresh meat?
How about this? 10 meltable shinies and this. And you pulls out a dead bird that he got from
Theo.
And this.
Done! I mean, done. And he takes the dead bird and he turns and you see him just walk up to a box, open it, and there's this whiff of something, and he just lobs it in and closes it.
What is this whiff of something?
There's a whiff of kind of flesh that's been sitting out for a while.
Oh, Jesus.
Obviously, there's just other bits of food in there.
You make that cat face that cats make when they've sniffed something really potent. You're like,
Goblins eat it.
Yes. So do kobolds.
That too. Yes, that one's a kobold.
He goes, anything else? Can I interest you? And he picks up a bag and puts it in front of you. This?
What is it?
If you lean into it, as you lean into it, you hear this coming from
It's
outside.
a bag of bees.
Yes.
so many questions.
Is there like a hive in there, or is it just a bag they've captured
Bees!
some bee?
And he shakes it like this.
Oh, no.
And it just gets a little more angry. And he goes, we have few. And he puts the bag there. One use only.
Yeah, I imagine
Throw
so.
and run away. Takes one.
Throw and run away.
Are you really gonna?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
3 meltable shinies.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Free, sure.
What? I hope you're noting these down somewhere.
Yes.
Bag of bees.
Oh my lord.
Stick with scorpion. These some interesting weapons.
They're just gonna melt the silver. It's not gonna. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, what else do you do with metal? They probably have a good purpose. Maybe they've got a machine that they're using gold, metal for, or silver for.
And then what? What are they turned into? Clearly nothing.
A machine that can dominate and explode the world.
Do you have any?
They're kobolds and goblins. I doubt it.
Could you make a machine that could destroy the world?
I'm different. I'm special.
You're different too.
Not by much.
This is a stretch, but perhaps do you have one of these? And you pull out a mage book.
There's a spell book.
Yeah.
A mage.
Is that Mark's spellbook? Yeah. I'm just wondering, is that what? Oh, okay. So it'll be in common then. That's cool. He looks at it and goes,
Yes, we had books.
ah! And he walks slightly back towards the goblin's direction and walks over to a box and pulls out a box and starts moving his box up to the desk sort of area where you are, and picks up half the table, and you realise it was just leant across something else. It wasn't actually going to sit there, and he just kind of flips it aside and pushes this box and lifts the lid off this box, and there's a bunch of books in this box.
I guess I'll investigate. Please don't be a one again.
Be there soon.
While this is happening, while you're interacting with the goblin will be happening.
I will go again.
One tail vanishes.
Oh. 18.
You flip through this, and you're like, I'm not doing very good at looking, and you kind of focus on your go again, and you feel the magic of your tail vanish, as you realise that's in that weird lost common, that's in lost common, that's in common, bang, that's in common, bang. I don't know what this language is, but it's not common and it's not lost common, bang, and you go through and you find about 5 books that are not in lost common. And the 2 that are in common, one appears to be some sort of like gardening description book.
I mean, that's still useful.
And the other one appears to be some sort of diary. As you flip through and realise it's an adventurer who's probably come through this cave. As you flip to the end and notice it describes similar journeying through the levels, but instead it describes going down a massive drop shaft, which you probably realise is probably the elevator that you went down. And it mentions that they were stopping in one of the other levels and they wandered in through another level, and then it just ends. So obviously someone had made it through some part of the area and had made camp somewhere halfway here and then died.
Would it have info about what they did before coming into here? I'm guessing it would.
Yep, it's an adventurer's diary, basically. And the more you start flicking through it, the kobold just goes, slam! No reading, buy or not.
Okay, this one, that one, the gardening one.
Yep.
I just realised you bought a weapon. We had to hand our weapons over.
It's not a weapon, it's just a...
Scorpion on a stick! He said, combat, wacky, he said.
Or food.
Yeah, it's food on a stick.
Consider.
Well, I mean, he did sell me a bag of bees, and he did say...
One time use it, throw and run away.
What if I use him in the pit?
Or just, oops, I dropped it! Right where you are.
For reference, yes, the scorpion is food, not a weapon, but mechanically it's a weapon, because I assumed he's not going to eat a poisoned scorpion. But the bag of bees was a considered weapon because of the bag of bees. But then it might not necessarily be a bag of bees as a bag of bees. It could be we're going to start up a hive somewhere.
We can get honey.
How many shinies for these 2?
He looks at the books. Looks at you. 1 each.
Oh, okay.
The books aren't very interesting.
Kobold's starting to feel like he might have been ripped off somehow.
The other 3 books, because you don't, you know they're not lost common, but you know they're of another language. Are you interested in these 3 as well, or not?
I'll just take them as well. I'll give him another 3.
As a note, luggage is going to walk over to there.
If in doubt, I can always translate.
Around when he comes back after he finishes his book, because he's curious about everything.
And you'll pay
He's
3
got
more
to one
silver
store.
for those. And then you... What's your best? The best thing you got.
The best thing.
The best.
He leans in and goes, better than what goblins like?
Yeah.
Roll me persuasion.
Better than a gnome? Sorry, wait, what goblins are like?
16.
Better than...
He turns and looks at the other goblin who looks like he's conversating with luggage at the moment. Because luggage's interaction will be happening soon. And he goes and steps back and walks to the end of the shop and sort of ushers you to follow him. And walks over to what looks like just a pile of just rubbish. And he starts sort of clearing part of the rubbish out and pulls out a little chest thing and sort of puts the chest in front of you and goes, better. It's a very nice looking chest.
What's inside it?
Mystery.
So it's a mystery box of goodies?
Yeah.
Yes,
Do I get to see, or do I have to pay before see?
Mystery box, pay to get in.
I've seen this before. It's like surprise mechanics.
It's a loot box.
Okay. I trust you on this one. And if it'll pull out 1 gold.
Very shiny.
Very shiny. Yes? Okay.
And he hands you this box. As you flick it around, you notice this box is very complicatedly locked.
What's it made out of?
It's
I guess I gotta pay for the key.
usually how it
Point
goes
to the
too.
lock.
It was found. It brought in. No one can open it.
Mystery.
Mystery box. For reference, this is clearly a box an adventurer was carrying around with them, and they just raided a corpse.
Made of wood?
No, it's a very protected kind of container. I'm not going to say steel, but it's quite
banded wood. So iron and stuff reinforcing a standard wood box. Yeah.
So we have to spend time trying to pick it.
Essentially, yes.
Or we could go back out the front. I could grab my hammer.
We have tool proficiency, so
Hey.
we should be alright.
Gotta be gentle. Gotta be gentle with these things.
You don't know what's inside. If you break it, you can break whatever's
You
inside.
don't gotta be gentle, but you can. Yes.
Do you want anything else from this kobold? Are you good?
I wonder what else you would have.
As you go to leave,
You just got
you,
gypped on a gambling box. Okay, are
As
you sure?
As you go to leave, you hear this clank noise as he's placed a container which looks like there's a creature inside it. He goes, want one of these, want one of these, want one of these.
What is what?
And he lifts the front of it, and you can see a skunk sort of looking around, very confused.
Oh, poor little thing.
How many of these do you have?
This one. The other one was already used. It's been taken out.
Used?
Distraction.
Distraction.
He turns it, shakes the box a bit, opens the back, and then poof, the smell of cloud just hits you.
Do I have the roll gone?
No, not for this. It's not. It's more of an example of this thing. It's just.
See, he farted in your face. Ha
How many other animals?
Just that one. A few more scorpions on sticks. Popular. Munchies on sticks.
Okay, wow. Okay. What do you want for it?
Oh, Fitz is like, oh, little furry thing. Need to save it.
His hands
Gold
like
one. Gold shiny.
Whatever.
I feel like right now he's got a bag of bees here with a stick with a scorpion on it slid there. He's holding a cage, and then underneath his arm is like a pile of books.
Don't forget the box.
Oh yeah, the box too. Underneath that arm is a box.
I think I got ripped
Pretty
off.
much everything you've gotten needs oxygen.
I know. That's why I'm like, where can I put it? Especially with a scorpion.
The books and the box, you could probably get away with putting that in the bag of holding. Depending what's in the box, though. Whether you want to take that risk.
Fitz.
Well, it's in a box. I mean, if it was breathing, it's probably dead by now.
If it's a magic box like a bag of holding, he's going to fuck everything.
Yeah, this just
Extra dimensional hole and an extra dimensional hole.
And you
It's
probably
just-
won't get that sort of information from a kobold who couldn't open it to begin with.
Let's just shove it in his cloak's pocket or whatever. And then he'll try and tie the bag of bees onto the stick with the scorpion.
Okay.
Yep, so he can, you know.
A
And
little hobo thing over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spin,
Yeah.
not spindle.
Doesn't matter.
There's a name for it.
And then does he risk taking the skunk out and just sort of no?
It's in a cage.
Just leave it in the cage.
Yeah,
it's
just
easier
leave it
in
in
the
the
cage.
It's a cage with a blanket over it.
Okay, he will leave it in the cage.
Yeah.
Oh, you've
I'm
got to
assuming
get
that's
Johnny
the
with
end-
that.
I'm assuming that's the end of your.
This
Scott,
concludes our broadcasting day.
Right, so time traveling back to Fitz.
Meanwhile,
the goblin is standing at the other end of this thing, and the goblin is standing. Like, can I interest you one of these? Pointing at a few random pieces of what look like warforged pieces of armor. You're big like this, right? You want these ones?
you've seen worse. I'd settle.
I'm not gonna kill him.
You've seen way, way worse.
The thing is, it's like going to a market and seeing human flesh on sale and having a human like come up and you want to buy some skin?
Welcome to D&D.
But no, no, I do not require further parts. Although, perhaps for later. What do you require? You mustn't get everything here.
I get what's needed. I make trade for what's needed.
Good. Society, not self. Clan.
I am part of this clan. We help support everyone here. Other clans are explorer clans. Other clans are digger clans who come in and out.
Trades between. No requirements. Okay. Just to make sure there isn't anything that I might have that they might want already. You sort of look at all the
Aside from your
ramshackle...
body parts, apparently.
ramshackle odds and sods bits. I'm, to be honest, not really looking for anything particular. I just want to see what they have for sale, the kind of shit. If it's more shit like this, about the only thing I might take interest actually in would be for the books, or
do you
have a bunch of magical items that I'd like, but none of them will be here. Yeah, I'd translate that into luggage conversation if you'd like, directly to him.
He nods. He seems to understand. He walks to another section of the area and pulls out a slightly nicer looking box and sort of drags it along and looks at you and goes, "Learned ones like these," and opens a box, and there is a bunch of books in there as well.
How much?
For what? How much you got?
This isn't how practice goes. You have price.
I have item. You want item? Give me offer. If no offer, no item. And he closes the box.
I will pull out a skull, some fresh meat, probably enough for a meal for someone of my size, so probably an entire goblin family, and what else have I got in there? A phoenix feather. Or I have, after putting all this stuff down, I have more of these, or I have shinies.
He opens the box and goes 1, 2, 3.
How much for
5
all?
of the box and just goes. Dum.
How much for all and box?
More than that, then. Takes the box and sort of plonks it back in. What shinies you got? They meltable shinies?
Yes.
Lots of meltable shinies then.
How many? Which colour? This colour? Copper.
Useless.
Well, these two. I'll pull out. I've got
gold.
Probably about 100-ish gold sitting left over.
He picks up something and puts it in front of you and goes, "Put it on there." And as you put each one, you notice it's a scale that is slowly weighing as he's watching this scale go
Can
around.
I figure out the weight that he's using?
Probably not. He probably doesn't fully understand it, because if you look at it, you realise there are strange etchings for each one, almost like he's interpreting like different things that creatures.
Cat, dog.
Yeah, basically.
Wife.
This is worth this much as each coin goes down.
How many gold to get there? Cool. Yep.
If you don't stop, it basically claims being the highest weights at 100 silver.
Which is what, 50? 2 to 1?
Yeah, I think it's 50 gold.
Okay. Is there a point where he's going to stop me before?
He will not stop you unless you physically stop. He will just sit there and wait.
How many books for this?
Box and books.
Right. All?
Sure.
Any more?
He points down at the kobold and goes, "He's got some."
Thank you. Pick up the box. Walk over down to the kobold.
And at this time, the transaction with Fitz has just happened, and you wander down with this massive box. And
open it up.
The kobold looks at you. And an undercommon. You don't speak undercommon, do you?
That's why I came down. I opened a box where there were books and went, any? Yeah?
It looks at you and mutters something in undercommon. You hear it say, "You're selling me these? I just got rid of some."
I think he wants to buy them.
Oh.
2 shinies per.
He turns and goes like this. And then holds up one book. And then an undercommon hearing 2 shinies per book.
I'm shaking my head, point at the whole box. I'm like, no. All the books.
You hear an undercommon. Like, and it's very angry. It's like, 2 shinies for my whole box. That's not worth it.
He wants all the books. Many shinies.
How many books are there, by the way?
There looks like there's another 10 books in this box.
Okay. And if
What
I can figure, I'll look over it if it's. I want all books, not 2, not 1.
Yes.
Tell him, give me something worth it.
He'll give you 2 silver per book. He wants all books, so.
Ah, right. Okay. Yep. Okay. He turns and looks at you and goes.
And I'll pull out tier 20 gold. That's
He looks
the
very.
coins I have.
In gold or in silver?
I have gold.
If you hand it to him in gold, he looks very annoyed.
He has not said silver
I know.
to me. He is holding up.
He looks very annoyed that
This.
you're holding 2 gold coins in front of him.
20.
If they're all gold coins,
Yes.
he's very annoyed. You're offering him gold coins. The deal was for silver coins.
Silver.
I don't have silver. This is worth more.
He turns and says, he doesn't understand value. Melty ones are useful. Those ones useless.
Do you have anything else?
Food.
Well, come on then.
Food.
Stop.
And I'll pull out a slab of meat.
Thank you, Jesus Christ.
You watch this.
You have intelligence, remember?
You watch this dribble come down the side of its mouth, and then go, and then he sort of, and you hear him in undercommon go, "Yes, I think that would be acceptable." Yes, and he sort of shoves the box in your direction.
Oh Lord!
And takes the meat from you, like almost snatches it out of your hand, and just turns back and walks to one. He walks to a different box to the one that you put the bird in, and opens it up and throws it in.
I feel like if we just went hunting for some animals and came down here, we'd get so
don't
much
need to
stuff.
go hunting.
You could have
I've
this
got
entire
enough-
shop.
I've got enough meat in my head for our entire party.
I love that he
for
does
like
understand that
10
not only
days.
is the gold more valuable, but it's also easier to melt.
They don't obviously come across gold very often.
Cool, okay.
Oh, bless.
Take the box, put it on top of the other box, pick up my stack of books, and go walking.
What the other one have?
These books.
I'm assuming you're watching all of this happen, or are you doing your own thing?
This is
A
what
mix
he
between
had.
conversing, I imagine, and
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
every so often I do side glances at these two, like, what the.
Why
And
have
if you're
you-
asking for the buzzing, I think you can imagine.
I've basically been keeping an eye on them, making sure they're not
You've got
causing any
some
trouble.
form of engine?
Essentially, what's happening is you're getting approached by different
Bees.
goblins who will talk to you, and every now and then one of them will poke you, and one of them will sort of pinch you because they're just this
What
is
else did I
strange
just
or
do?
yellow, and some of them
What's
sort of have
everything
a
else?
few conversations.
What do you show me first?
A lot of them are querying more
Well,
about
I get to
why
walk
you're
past
like
all the
that
fact
and not
that
like
they're
them.
all about- I
That's
can't
a lot of the
remember what it was.
conversations.
But
And
Above ground.
I think you only saw
mostly that
to be
seems to
honest, so-
satisfy their confusion, and some of them will ask
there are a
for
few
it.
things
You get a couple of younger ones asking for tales of where you've come from above ground. Which I'm assuming you just give them random bits of sort of conversation of thing.
fought a phoenix once.
Part of the way through it, one of them will turn and say, like the superhero, we've got one who's like a super exploring goblin and things. And he's holding this little book that he's sort of holding in front of you. And there is a very well drawn picture of
Do you mind? We're having a moment.
a very well drawn picture of a red goblin who looks like he's wearing sort of well civilized gear and things.
Oh.
And there's a bit of magic coming off him.
So, it being quite well drawn, do I potentially recognize that red goblin?
No, it's not a goblin that's sort of recognizable.
Not that one I met.
Silhouette.
It's more like potentially a red goblin once at some point visited them, and there is this thing here, and this book. Yeah, the book is very much an autobiography. There is, and as you read parts of it, you realise, and you flip to the back of this book, just sort of the goblin. It's in Goblin. It's very basic in sort of the description of things, and every now and then something epic had happened, and it sort of talks about things. It mentions a secondary goblin that existed, and on the back there is what looks like probably his party of him. There is him who's quite large. There is a blue goblin that was with him, and then there is an orange one that was with him.
That's very special.
And as you sort of flicking through this as well, you realise this is dated about 10 years ago. So there is potentially a goblin party out there.
The orange one a monk?
Click, clack, math rocks.
What were you doing? Now that you finished your convo, you were
find Drew and show him I brought him a bunch of books.
And then this bit's going to the other.
You'll check the goblin. They won't really be able to. Well, I guess they can speak.
If you're going back to the goblin, I will come with you. As I understand, you can't speak to the goblin.
Well, no, the goblin knows undercommon.
No, the goblins know common.
And common.
They know common and goblin. The kobolds know undercommon and draconic. They converse with each other in undercommon. And some of the goblins can speak draconic.
Right, so they do know
the more skilled ones have learned another language.
Cool. So they do know undercommon, so they can speak to him.
Well, they know common.
They know broken common. I'm sure they know undercommon a bit better.
You said that they speak to each other with undercommon.
Yeah, they converse with each other in undercommon.
Goblins and kobolds.
Yeah.
So yeah, good.
But the first thing most of them
they don't have a language together if they don't have any. If they don't have undercommon. Cool. Sweet. So you can talk to him either which one. He can speak. Fine. Cool. I will continue to go and find.
I'm assuming you're wanting the Warforged pieces from him.
That was the other bit. Yes,
Oh, yeah,
I
those
did
were the other
mention
things.
there was.
Sure, but also just to browse what he has. Maybe he won't have messed up.
If you have something specific, like or some kind of thing, ask him for it. He basically is waiting for your instruction for something. Otherwise, he just randomly just puts random odds and ends in front of you, which essentially would look like a cup. No, okay, how about a bowl? How about a fork? He just kind of goes through this process. Unless you specifically say something.
Basically what the kobold did, just slightly more efficient.
There was a bit of
Kobold had
symbolism on this
some
one.
interesting things.
Bag of bees.
He puts a hat in front of you. And
What's
then
it-
pats
what's
the
it
hat,
like?
and the hat goes. And then pats the hat again, and it goes.
I mean, half of that function you can do anyway. It's an interesting hat, though.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. I mean, neat.
Yeah, hat.
It's a bowler hat when it pops out, and when it pops down, it looks like just a flat hat.
Okay. Too silver. Too shiny.
That's the thing we should do. Detect magic. See if we can find any magical items in this.
I was using the wrong background first, but it's alright. It nods. Hands the hat, takes the 2 silver from you, and sort of clacks them together.
How many shinies for those? And you point to the pieces.
What do you have?
You had to
And
know
you
that
put
was what
down.
he said.
I'll be generous. And you put down 15 silvers.
How
Looks
much-
at the silver.
How much is up there? How much of a warforged?
Pay
is
like
there?
Not
50
much of a
silvers
warforged. There
for
are
nothing?
There are bits and pieces of just metal and
I'm
things.
gonna pay
like that.
50.
And with theoretically, there's probably about an arm's worth of armor of just random scraps, but half of them are like 6 thumbs. Or, like none of them will make an arm. There's just about an arm's worth of things there.
Excuse me.
So you have an arm's worth of scraps.
Hey. That's what you get for knocking over my
So
pile.
you accept it?
Yep, you'll accept it.
You have an arm's worth of parts. That isn't actually an arm's worth. Unless you want
There are repeats of things.
Thumb McGee. Who has 5 thumbs. Well, actually, no, sorry, 3 thumbs.
Thumb
Okay.
McGee.
Yeah, 3
No, no, it's 4 thumbs.
You only have 3 fingers.
It doesn't make a full hand. He's just got 4 thumbs for some reason.
Fitz isn't hopeful, but he's gonna try and detect magic.
How does that work? It's based off what you can.
For a minute, 30 feet around him, he can see any aura of magic. He knows the school of magic, but not what the effect is.
30 feet about, and there is no, other than the hatch that you're holding,
Oh, neat.
there is a small amount of emanating magic from this.
Just to make it.
It's almost similar to your mending based cantrip. It's almost like it has like an auto mending system to it when it's tapped.
30 feet, and it's concentration for 10 minutes. It can also penetrate most barriers, but 1 foot of stone.
Nothing else other than what you'll normally use to is emanating magic from this room.
But as long as you keep focus on it, it will stay there for the next 10 minutes.
Well, one of these. You pull out the diamond. It's shiny.
You want one of those?
I want one of these.
I can do one of those, yeah. What do you want for one of those?
Pulls out a ball of glass.
How big's your one of those?
How big are you looking?
The biggest.
The biggest.
The biggest.
The biggest.
The biggest.
He turns and walks to like the pile of wall torch pieces and things and sort of lifts one of the like other scrap piece of metal things and opens a small shaft that's in the wall, which reveals what looks like probably where a safe would have been kept, but there is no safe in there. And he puts his hand in and pulls out what looks like this massive diamond.
Okay, that started with what looks like.
I say what looks like because you have detect magic on. There is an illusion that seems to be consistently on this diamond that he almost seems to be unaware of. It's actually just a rock.
Don't dispel it, you'll piss him off.
Doesn't have to spell.
I don't quite like the shape of it, but I'll give you one of these. And you'll pull out one of the guns, and you'll slap it on there.
He steps back a bit and goes, and walks up to you and just puts that and quickly shoves it under the table and sort of looks around and goes,
yes,
and walks over to the wall and sort of starts hiding this gun. Like he's like, I've got contraband. I don't want anyone to see this.
Yeah, we do. Artificers, level 3.
Doesn't mean he has it.
That's what?
Short rest, you
Spell.
can have it.
He's being a pedantic little shit.
After the shopping excursion,
Yeah, Fitz will walk away now. He's
Drew, you've seen this weird chaos and everything going on. What are you doing now? As luggage seems to be walking back with a big box of books.
I want to actually
Two boxes.
Two boxes.
approach the more important looking goblin.
The white one that's standing in front of these other two ones, yeah, he looks very sort of standing in front and says you. Hello?
Oh,
Can I help you?
possibly. I wish to know the history of this place and your people. Your goblinoids.
You got 4 more.
We've been here for many a generation.
Surprised you've got any left.
I did pick up.
We've
quite
had a few who have come and gone. We've travelled through caves and some have come to the surface and they settled here. But what else do you need to know about us?
I'm just curious.
Scratched it into the ground.
I don't really encounter many goblins on my travels. And the ones I do are typically green or part goblin.
The angry green ones, we know of them.
Well, in the mirror.
We have the tales of the village where we have started off with sort of the ones who were originally slaved down here, and then the slave owners left and we took over. It's sort of the generalize of how we ended up with this place being our village.
Who were the slave handlers?
Taller humans. The books of tales, they change. I believe they're elves.
Elves.
They were here, I believe, a couple of centuries ago.
Drow. Dark skin.
Yeah.
Pale.
Yeah, those ones. They were here for a while, then they left.
Pale skin.
Dark skin.
They are pale and ashen. Grey.
Debate for another time.
Mm-hmm.
See. The leader of this area.
Mm-hmm.
Who is he? What is he?
He looks at the two kobolds. I'm assuming this conversation's in Goblin.
Yeah.
And he goes, in Undercommon, he goes, the leader is the mighty kobold working team force of Goblin and Kobold Syndicate. And then in Goblin, he turns and goes, Jerry's the leader. We call him Jerry because he jerry-rigs things. He's the smartest of us. But don't let them know.
I see. So,
do you want to meet him?
Yes.
He would probably like you. He turns to the kobolds in an Undercommon. He basically says, the Golden-y one wants to meet with the council. And the two of them go, and they nod to each other and turn back to you. And he says, just go on through. And
thank you.
Looks at Fitz and Luggage. I'm assuming you've caught up. Are they coming with you?
What language is this in?
Goblin.
If I'm allowed. I am weighed down by books.
You can leave books out here. You're a very learned, big, robot, scary thing.
I will carry them.
And he will step out of the way and you guys can walk in.
Fitz came walking in with his stick of buzzing bees.
You do get looks from the kobolds as you walk in with this buzzing bees, but it's almost the equivalent of someone who's walking in with a bunch of food or something.
You're like a tourist who's just gone to all the stores and bought all the things and said carry them.
So you guys walk into...
just need a pair of khakis.
You guys walk up to this
camera.
door that sort of opens up, and as you go through...
Sandals with socks.
You walk into this massive clearing of a room that looks like it's got more makeshift kind of wall set up where it's like a pole and a sheet that's in the way of things. And as you walk in, there is a massive, what you guys know is a teleportation circle sitting there, but it looks like it's still kind of in pieces. And sitting around the circle are 4 kobolds who seem to be chatting with each other, and they're just sort of conversing with each other. And then just outside of that, there is another kobold and a whiter-looking goblin standing aside, who seems to be... He's very well dressed compared to the rest of them, and he seems to be conversing with them.
Is there a pillar? The activation pillar for the teleporter?
Yeah, no, there's a pillar that seems to be set to a side, and
just making sure that the parts in theory are still all there for a teleport.
What if you turned it on?
You get rid of some kobolds?
As you walk in, Fitz, you look over at the teleporter, expecting to see magic. There's no magic emanating from this.
Oh.
Easy, gentlemen, easy.
As you,
it may require fixing, as he said, there are parts.
As you guys walk in, a couple of the kobolds sort of turn, and the group of them all stand up, and the white one goes, "Welcome, shinier goblin, and big cat and thing. Welcome."
Thank you.
Luggage.
Was he speaking in...
He was speaking in Goblin.
Yeah, I reply in kind.
Thank you. It then looks at Fitz, and then a very well-versed common goes, "Is this easier for you?"
Yes, yes.
"I shall continue like this." And 2 of the kobolds that are sitting next to him go, "Oh, that is a language, of course." And they also speak common.
Ugh, English.
And the group of them come, and the 4 that are conversing with each other all sort of get up, and they sort of move to parts of this teleporter almost like it's their spots, and the group all move to this like teleporter, so they're all standing above you guys basically, and they go, "What brings you to the council?"
Knowledge? Or...
He does.
I seek knowledge on you and how you got here.
It is a long tale.
Books with knowledge too. It's proof that we're seeking knowledge.
Do you wish to converse with the history times? And the kobolds all come out. History times, yes.
Converse with the history times.
Yes, of course. And he steps off and walks around the side of the pool, stops and goes, and brings you around to this massive sheet thing that seems to be covering something. And he pulls the sheet back, and what you can see is essentially a computer monitor.
Okay.
I was hoping it was going to be a bookshelf that was just constantly streaming words at you, just every single book talking from start to finish over and over and over again.
I was expecting them just to be confused with the word converse. Oh, I see.
It carries our history. And he walks up to the computer and presses a couple of things on it, and a little icon appears on the screen, and he goes, history! And it blinks a little bit, and then a bunch of different sort of icons seem to appear on it, and he goes, what do you want to know? And he points basically at a bunch of lost common things and goes, that's the lost language. We don't know it. And then as he bangs part of the screen, it sort of swipes along. And he sort of does this a couple of times. And then he goes, our entries. And then smacks it eventually, and there's this goblin entry. And there seems to be just a few of these entries.
Compared to the page on page on page on page of lost
Oh,
common.
I do a skim of that.
Yep. Roll me an investigation, just based on how quick you skim through it.
So we can read a screen too?
Are they all distracted with this?
18.
You are not.
There are two.
Behave yourself.
There are 2 kobolds and a goblin who are currently with Drew and the other one. Are you with Drew as well?
Following my master with books.
Okay. So there's 2 kobolds who are still sitting on this teleportation pad thing.
Oh.
What did you get, sorry, Drew?
18.
You can flip through this quickly, and the gist of what you figure out is a lot of these logs seem to consist of change of leadership and sort of their entries of leadership, almost like this is what we do, this is what we change and things, and a lot of it seems to be very mundane, sort of this trade went well, this tribe is no longer here, this one is here now, this happened. A couple of key entries you come across is the ceiling of one of the undercaves seemed to coincide with the new arrival of kobolds, and mentions that these new arrivals had come in with other travelling adventurers who we had previously been aware of coming in and raiding things, and you immediately click that this is probably the pet kobolds that have been mentioned in the past. A lot of this history, as you're flicking through it, also seems to indicate that they started figuring out what was going on here and taking control of everything about 200 years ago. So they haven't been here for a massive period in between.
How far back do the records go? What's the date on the earliest entry?
From the goblin ones? There is
the first entry.
The first entry, they're not dated entries.
Okay, cool. Just curious.
You can read Lost Common and you know these aren't dated entries, like this is it. It's their progress report entries, not of dates, but more of this has been completed, this has been completed, and you immediately realise this is a progress of them setting up a new teleporter on site here. And the progress reports are basically that it was about 50% in, but it was missing a few things, and then it suddenly goes into the Goblin entries, which is year 1 of Goblin, and they've essentially, it sounds like their year started from 200 years ago, so they're technically in year 200 according to this entry.
Okay.
So their existence has only been around for 200 years according to this computer.
What?
We've got the instructions on how to make teleport circles. Possibly. That's what I went about.
Okay, so the old common, I'd like to now read through that, basically.
You're just looking through the old common stuff.
Yeah.
This is, they're not instructions, they're just progress reports.
Nope.
This
get nothing.
So this is the equivalent of the updates we're getting for State Highway 1 being upgraded. This is happening now, and then this is happening now, but there's no detail in it.
So it's basically just a journal computer.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Okay, cool.
Your history is interesting.
Is there anything else?
Sticking to Goblin, just basically starting a conversation with him, learning about him.
Yep. This guy basically.
And actually officially introducing myself.
He introduces himself as what did I say before?
Jerry.
Jerry. Yeah, because I got Rig next to it because it was Jerry Rig.
I was going to say, is his mate called Ben?
No.
This is their house.
No, I'm
Ben and
Might
Jerry.
nickname him Papa.
He said I'm Jerry. I am one of the more learned ones here. As he's talking to you for a little bit, as the kobolds sort of go back, he grabs your arm and pulls you back again and goes, "Were you from a green tribe?" And sort of stops you from leaving as the rest.
Technically, yes.
He quickly takes his necklace and lifts it like this, and this illusion immediately drops and he's yellow. And then he puts the necklace back on and he's white again. And he goes, It's nice to meet another one.
Stunned. What? When? Original name.
Alright, we're going to have to sit and wait. I will start reading the other computer.
I don't know what my original was. I just went by Jerry from some humans. They called me Jerry because I was good at fixing weapons and things and being very tech-y and stuff. So I went with it.
Or just a craftsman. We're craftsmen with practical application.
Oh.
Because you got, at the moment, you two are currently not near the rest of the group.
Yeah.
The kobolds are talking to you guys in Undercommon and Common, and they're trying.
I was like, I just.
They're talking in Common and Undercommon to each other. So you were hearing them complain about a few things in Undercommon, and then in Common they talk to you again. And a lot of the conversation you're getting out of these kobolds in particular is they're explaining how they are the current council, how they're in charge, and they talk about how the beast wanders through, and they query whether you know the massive beast. You realise immediately they're talking about Seven. They talk about how there is a deal that goes on with Seven, and they are aware of Seven's existence and the trades that have gone through of the skeletons that hang out in the outside area and things. You realise that this group seems to be aware of Seven having done just stuff and just sort of symbiotically worked with his existence. And the rest of the village seems to not know, more of a sense of they don't understand what the actual deal is with things.
I will let them know that we have, I was going to say taken Seven away, but that's not exactly right. Seven will no longer be around. They will have to adjust and possibly fend for themselves a little bit more.
One of them turns and says, the quiet season again. And they all nod. And they explain to you that this isn't the first time Seven has left. He will come back.
As I've heard the conversation, if they go back, he has come back and forth. I will also point out,
it's their quiet season.
Do they know of, like, do they ever leave here? Do they know of the city of Silver Thorns? Of Shiny Thorns?
They don't know what you talk about when you mention that. It sounds like these guys have an understanding of the outside world and adventurers that would come in, and it sounds like they're the reason why the door sometimes gets opened.
Cool.
But they don't know anything out there, and they tend to spend a lot of their time underground. And there was a symbiotic thing of adventurers come in, we raid them and stuff like that, and they mentioned that there is more deeper things into the caves that they have explored, but recently one of those caves caved in, and so they're in the middle of the change of season will also trigger the change of digging, and they will move into a more mining colony is what they seem to describe to you.
Are we in a rush? How big?
Drew is currently not with you during this.
How bad is this?
The mine?
I mean,
they don't seem.
Have I got time?
They don't seem overly concerned about it, but the way they describe it, it sounds like it would probably take a couple of months to mine through this.
Clear it out. Okay, cool. Sweet. Oh, good. Well,
and they talk about how this facility seems to house this sort of thing, and they basically believe that's what it was designed for originally.
Is there any assistance they require from us that won't take months? That they wish.
They don't seem interested in assistance from the outside. It's the way their society has operated.
Cool. Sweet. Okay then. Conversation I require. You're there too if you want to talk to them.
Fitz will give you the hat.
The pop-down hat.
I won't be able to access.
Just further conversation with him, asking him about his past.
Although I guess
like when he left,
funny now,
how he left,
doing this.
like the circumstances in which he left.
Thank you.
He basically
I certainly
he goes, I left home
Do not
about 10 years ago. My human home. I was part of the tribe. About 7 years before that, before I went to the human, I worked with humans for about 3 years, and then I got in here by accident, and I The amulet was one from a gift from a human adventurer. It's capable of changing sort of real basic things. I would pretend to be a halfling. Sometimes I pretend to be a gnome. It's sort of very depending where I was. Being here, I found it doesn't take as much power for it to just change my skin. So I am a white one to them. It's different seeing white ones. They're learned like us, but not so open-minded. More just you can have a conversation with them and they understand things, but they're very set in their ways. They will do these things and just because that's the way it is.
Obstinate.
Yes, I know that one. I know that one well. I gave him a rundown of what happened to me.
So
Grew up in a library with humans and whatnot.
He seems very confused about
Chased out of the
tribe and all things. He seems very sort of understanding as you explain this whole thing, and every time you mention something that happened with your tribe, he interjects back with something else with very similar circumstances happened with yours. The difference is he thinks his one is dead. Well, this is his conclusion. He's not sure if it's just a case of they're green, they had a fight with something, they died. He turned up at the cave one day and they were gone. But there was no sign of them having left with things, and he couldn't discern what everything was going on, but decided that that was just a sign for him to move on. So he basically wandered on from that point and just ignored most things that happened, and found an adventurer at one point who basically let him drag along with him for a while, and he mentions how he spent a year with this one adventurer wandering about, who was eventually gifted with this thing that let him change what he looked like. And he gained interest in working in blacksmith areas and this, that, and the other, and tinkering around with things and stuff. It sounds like he's describing like another artificer like Fitz, but every time you mention something scientifically, he looks really confused, like he doesn't actually understand what it is. So he probably was just able to fix things really well, and it was about as far as his intelligence went.
Smart boy.
I also let him in on finding luggage and the more mechanical side of that.
He's
Maybe of interest.
Seems very intrigued by it. Mentions that they don't go to the floor that has a bunch of the ones that the undead and things up there, but mentions he's been curious about going there, and with this new information, he seems you've seen this look in your own eye sometimes when reflecting, is this interest of, I want to go try something that I'll probably get in trouble with. You mentioned this, but he tries to hide this, I'm going to try something later, and sort of thanks you for the information, and says it's very nice to have met another yellow goblin. And
I say the same, and I also mention we're shutting them down, and there won't be power to the area. But, I mean, wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if you went and had a look.
Can come
One
with
knowledge
us
buddy
if
to another.
if he can stealth enough, he can.
I'm like, you
look
can
at
always
us.
join us if you want. But I figure you got your thing here.
I mean, 2-3 things I say and I get what I want. I'm content. If you want to come back, you're welcome to come back. I will spin the tales of yellow goblins and the bigger robot cat things, and you should be able
robot cat things. I like that.
You should be able to get back in with the kobolds. They shouldn't be too much of an issue. We can pass on the message of the importance of everything if you wish.
There's a larger group of us, but they were less inclined to come for a visit. But
One was
I'm sure I
feeling
will
unwell.
return.
One was feeling unwell, another was working too busy on her woodworking, I guess. Real world linking them in. One's not feeling too well, one's at work. No, it was he. Yeah. So
Anywho.
I'm not even part of this conversation.
Yeah. All Woodhams.
As you go to leave, he grabs something from one of the things and just hands you this sort of crudely carved sort of like goblin like face and goes like, just show them that. You should be fine.
Thank you.
Grab something in the box, comes close to you.
Long live the king.
Only one gobble taken.
It was good to meet you.
It was good to meet you too.
Be well.
You as well. So it lets you leave. Assuming you guys have all good and you're wandering out now.
So I'm told otherwise.
Do your shopping, jeez. Just because you couldn't punch a goblin or a kobold in the face.
I went shopping and bought stuff for you.
Cool. You guys basically will walk out of this sort of kobold goblin village thing quite happily, and essentially walk up back to the crossroads where Seven, Aaron, and Johnny, and Dio, and Monty are all waiting for you. And that's where we'll end it there, as you will be able to reconvene with the rest of the party and begin your journey out of the cave, having not died from a character that was once played in a one-shot level 20 character.
Yeah, thanks for not killing us with your past character.
I wonder what his max hit would be though, with all his things together. How high you could hit.
What do you remember it was?
In one turn.
30.
You can hit higher in one turn, I think.
He does 2d8, max 16, plus 4, max 20, plus 10 for great weaponry.
Two
That's
hits.
30. So 60 per turn. It's on any attack for great weapon mastery, isn't it?
Yeah, it's any attack. You could also add a guided attack to it as well.
Sure.
So he could potentially, in swipe, do about 60 or
60 would be the max for the great weaponry at just top damage, and that's not including crits.
And the great weapon would also, it halves your hit point to hit because it's 5 less to hit what the item is, but with that being a general thing.
With him being that good swinging it, it doesn't matter.
Something 19 to crit or something.
Yeah. So anyway.
And then he had his weird monstery parts as well.
He could spit acid.
Yeah.